What's going on? That PPP, you've done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Gotta talk tips like we fucking pasta. What you talking about, men printed on cost. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt. Cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Think you did, Jeff? I think you did, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you did yet. Well, he's doing shady shit like a GOP's, like his whole fail thing with the NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay. He's getting money, even better tax-free. Loving all the stimulus from PPP. Cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. What's going on? That PPP, you've done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Gotta talk tips like we fucking pasta. What you talking about, men printed on cost. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt. Cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Think you did, Jeff? I think you did, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you did yet. Well, he's doing shady shit like a GOP's, like his whole fail thing with the NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay. He's getting money, even better tax-free. Loving all the stimulus from PPP.
Ooh.
Cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your
Bobby, baby.
You ruined the hobby
Let's go.
I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson.
What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, guys are doing well out there. That is right. It is not a Thursday night. Instead, it is a Wednesday night because we've got Sleepy Joe and the future president debating tomorrow night. Thought we'd clear the way for that since there are many people that want to tune into that. And I think it's a must watch. You got two people, I think, that are must watch. We rarely had that in politics. Not that we want either one or excited about either one necessarily being president again, but you got to watch the debate. You got to watch that. And so that is tomorrow night. So we're joining you a day early here on the West Coast. It is 5:34. East Coast, it is 8:34. Might have a different crowd tuning in on this Wednesday night, but we got a lot of things to talk about here on Sports Card Radio. Super producer Tim put his side pieces aside for the night, and he's producing for the #1 live program, even when we're a day early. And we are joined, as always, by Ryan. How we doing tonight?
Everything is absolutely fantastic. We got the NBA draft going on. We got Joe and Donnie probably getting the Adderall ready, probably getting the cocaine ready for their debate tomorrow night. But yeah, we'll be sitting back, relaxing, watching this like many in the hobby. Speaking of hobby, cbhobby.com, save 10%, promo code Will Greer. You can also call into the CB Hobby hotline. But I'd like to welcome everybody. Guys, we're going to be talking about some of your favorite hobby heroes tonight on Sports Card Radio. So sit back, relax, grab a drink, grab a smoke, grab whatever you need to grab. Take a line like our boy Mike Petty did back in the 80s. But good to see you guys. Moondust says he's watching this naked. So maybe he will call in. If he calls in, he might have to put on some clothes. Buffalo Dean is in the house. BK Sports Cards. Phoenix Rising is in the house. Zeke Sports Cards. TheCardDeal.com. These guys all got the message that we were coming on one day early. And we've got a lot to talk about. Like I said, some of your favorite hobby heroes will be mentioned on today's show. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest events in the sports card world. Like I said, NBA draft tonight. I doubt Bronny is going to be picked tonight, but we'll see if somebody jumps up and gets them. What are we going to be talking about tonight? There was an explosive post on Reddit about card addiction. And apparently a man blew his wedding budget on sports cards this year. We'll definitely get into that. Hobby hero Jeffrey Wilson went on his Jeff Wilson show today and said that he and Cards HQ had sold $4 million in cards in 4 months. So we will get into that. We will talk about, is that a big number? Is that a small number? We will certainly get into all of that. Vintage Sports Shack. He's got the haters literally blowing up his phone. We will talk about, hey, we have a lot of experience with haters and threats and death threats and lawsuit threats over the years. So we can certainly get into that and talk about that situation. Is the National going to return to the Crickets convention? We'll go over kind of ticket sales. Are ticket sales a little slow, or is there something else going on? Fanboys of the National won't want to miss that. I want to ask you and everybody else watching who they think are the biggest idiots in the sports card world. We had some people weigh in. I could only think of one or two. That might be shocking to some people. Maybe my definition of idiot needs to expand. But I want to ask the audience, Colin, I want to ask you who you think the biggest idiot in sports cards is. We will talk about that. We will have an update on the Filthbomb situation. And it ties into another topic about Mr. Everybody's hobby hero, my favorite guy on Patreon, Mr. Jab's family himself. Made a little mistake, a little boo-boo in a break, and we can talk about that. We can kind of contrast that to how Filthbomb handled their little mistake. But I don't know where you'd like to begin. I don't know if you'd like to begin talking about the fact that Mary Gamble, when we first started talking about her, had, I think, 6,700 followers. That's documented somewhere on the internet. And now just a couple weeks later, she's not quite at Roth Cards level. What does our boy Roth have? Let's look at him. 37,000. So we got a ways to go. But we're convincing the sports card world that if we're looking at pictures of men on cardboard, I'd certainly rather watch Mary Gamble show it off than Roth Cards. No offense to the man bun and no offense to Roth Cards. But come on, what are we really talking about here, guys? But I don't know speaking of talking about, I don't know where you wanted to begin. Looks like our boy
Oh,
Nat here is sliding in. Go ahead. What'd you?
nothing wrong with that. Hey, shout out to Matthew, who is a fan of this show, sent me some cards and a very nice note here. I won't say his last name. One of them including this Lexi Thompson autograph card, which I thought was pretty cool. Lexi Thompson is retiring this year, and he sent me a bunch of cards. So I just wanted to shout out Matthew, who says he works quite a bit and he has a family, so he doesn't get to tune in live, but he tries to tune in on the replays. So shout out Matthew, you know who you are. Sent me some cards, including this Lexi Thompson, which is pretty cool. Thank you very much for that. Great fans of the program. I don't know where you want to start. What I think the NBA draft is going on tonight. I think you mentioned that. I had no idea, and so I'm a less tuned into basketball. Certainly, 19-year-old basketball prospects also as well. I know the Lakers have a new coach, which is kind of interesting. But I mean, are we looking at an NBA draft that is lacking that kind of star power? Obviously, there's not a Wembanyama in this draft, but could we be looking at an NBA draft that a lot of people are not really paying attention to? And so could it be one of those drafts where the 6th, 7th pick, because trust me, there is going to be a guy or two, probably a white dude or two in this draft that the breakers and the influencers are going to get hyped about. He'll average like 12.5 points this year, and they'll somehow convince everybody that this is somebody you should pay 5 figures for. There's going to be somebody in this draft. I see 2 foreign guys at the top. So I'm just wondering, what's up with this draft? Is there anybody that's other than Bronny, obviously, that people actually know about and care about? Is there anybody in this draft that the Roth cards and the card collector 2 kind of guys are going to be pumping, because they've got to sell this product. This product's going to come out shortly, if not already, if it's out already. So who's going to be kind of the pumper? I mean, a G League. There's a G League guy drafted 5th. That can't be good.
I think they even had to shut that team down because they were playing so bad. But yeah, there isn't superstar talent, at least right now, at the top of the draft board, and kind of a name or 2 or 3 that people are talking about. And that happens sometimes. And sometimes later on, these guys emerge. But what it could create is not a lot of hype surrounding the products, at least early on. And maybe if you like one of these guys, or if you scouted one of these guys, maybe we can get in there and get these cards before these guys come something. But like you said, who knows? Does anybody know who Zachary Richardson? I mean, unless you're following the draft or following France basketball, or you're a Hawks fan, you're probably not too familiar with these guys. It's not Zion. It's not Ja. It's not Victor Wembanyama. It's not some of these guys that were hyped up before they even played a game. So we shall see. If you're a little more in tune to college basketball, if you're a little more in tune to these teams, you might know who some of these guys are. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that. And boy, it seems like the WNBA lately is getting more attention than.
Yeah. So does this keep the Wembanyama hype going for another year? Because you have, like these guys, the thing is that somebody made the point already, like Prism boxes will still be 800. And that's not, that's not even a joke. It's like being serious. So the boxes are going to be the same price. And so does that make Wembanyama stuff maybe even as attractive in year 2? Because if we had like a really hot draft again, then it might, you might have to sell your Wembanyama's to buy whoever, that was in this draft. But now it's like, are you still just buying Wembanyama because this draft is like a bunch of nobodies?
I think the breakers have to move on, because they have to move on to what's new, what's hot. And they're not going to be able to gobble up old 2023 product, even, 4, 5, 6 months ago, 6 months from now. That'll be an expensive proposition. So at some point, the breakers have to move on, and who they push you on, or who they hype up, or who they latch on to will be very, very interesting, because they're going to have to move on from Wembanyama. They probably haven't had to do so yet, because a lot of this product that has Wembanyama in it either is coming out or has yet to come out. And I think Fanatics even has a couple offerings with Wembanyama. Here's a promo from last year's National that is at $6,000, and it's still got a day left.
Are you buying Wembanyama now? I know you were high on
No.
Wembanyama. Are you into Wembanyama? Like, is this the time to
No.
buy Wembanyama?
No, because I think you can. I think you can look at the Luka Doncic chart, and if you're buying Wembanyama to quote invest or to speculate or to make money, unless you're in there right now buying these cards and grading to flip or selling them really fast, I think you can just wait and you can look at what happened to Luka Doncic. Made the NBA Finals, and in the last 6 months, his cards haven't moved. And obviously, in the last 2 years, they're down 55%. So even if Wembanyama fulfills his prophecy, makes it to the fucking NBA Finals, maybe even wins the NBA Finals, there's a good chance nobody will care. Because he plays for the Spurs, or it was preordained, or they have some other stud on their team that got him over the top. So I think with Wembanyama, you could wait potentially years before you dip into his market, let alone what could happen in his career that could cause his card prices to dip. Luka Doncic made the NBA Finals, and his cards are down. Look at the time that he made the NBA Finals. It's like a blip on the radar on the 2-year chart. It like barely moved. This time in 2023 in the offseason almost went up the same amount as when he made the NBA Finals. So there's the same amount of supply coming onto the market of these Wembanyama cards. So you can just wait. Now, maybe a rare card like this, apparently this is a very rare card, maybe you got to jump on it. And if you're after the high-end Wembanyama, maybe you have to jump on some of these cards because you may not see them again, or they may be hard to obtain. But for the regular guy out there who's not spending 6 racks on some Wembanyama, but maybe wants to pick some up along the way, you can see. You can wait. Now, the Luka chart is up all time because Jeff Wilson had not told you guys to get back into cards in 2018. So Luka's cards did come out affordably, but again, nobody was in the hobby because Jeff Wilson had not told you guys to buy cards yet.
But in context, up 300% since 2018 compared to the stock market is not really that good. Compared to Bitcoin is way down. Compared to Nvidia stock is way down. You know what I mean? In comparison. And that's also not in like, I think it's nominal terms. So it's like 350%. What's the value of the dollar gone down in 7 years too? So you have to factor in those types of things. 350% gain if you bought Luka on day one. It's really not that, it's like not really that great over the course of whatever it's been, 6-7 years.
Well, you can see they add some of these cards along the way. So we look at these things, it's not exactly, because this 2020 card wasn't even out when the chart started, right? So I don't how some of this math breaks down. I don't really know, but
it's not good.
I don't think there's not been a tremendous amount of movement on Luka Doncic cards or Jason Tatum or even Jaylen Brown cards for that matter. Those cards haven't exploded in price because they finally won a championship. Those cards have always been expensive. Yeah, you can see Jason Tatum's cards are actually only up 100% all time.
It's not really that much.
In the last year, Jason Tatum cards are down 51%.
Do you buy Jason Tatum cards?
No, because nobody cares. He won an NBA championship and nobody cares.
But what if he wins 3?
Well, I think we can wait till he wins 3 first before you even start thinking about sniffing on his cards. I mean, his cards have less.
That's what's interesting. The players actually have to do something that was not expected. Like for your cards to really explode in value, the players have to do something. It's not like during the pandemic and a lot of these influencers, they compared trading cards to the stock market in that if the player won MVP, if the player played well, if the player made the finals, if the player won a championship, that the cards would perform in context of that. Very similar to the way the stock does. If a stock hits its revenue targets, hits its EPS targets, hits its guidance, buys back the shares, pays a dividend, whatever, the stock will go up almost like clockwork. Okay. It's a little bit different in the trading card market. Some of these guys do exactly what you thought they did, like Luka and like Tatum, and their cards go down. Jaylen Brown, I think, is the exception where nobody a couple of years ago would have projected, other than hardcore Celtics fans or whatever, or hardcore Jaylen Brown fans, nobody would have said this guy's a finals MVP type of player. Just even like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Am I wrong about that?
Maybe before the series even started.
Maybe before the series started.
Yeah, no.
But so his cards have reacted in a positive way because he's really done something unexpected. Whereas with Wembanyama, with Luka, with a lot of these guys that come in with the high expectations, they actually have to do something pretty extraordinary for us to really, really get excited about their shit. Because at this point in our lives, like, sports are getting older, obviously. You know, it was like 30 or 40 years ago. The leagues were still pretty young. There wasn't that many players that have played in the NFL. Major League Baseball has been around a little bit longer. But like in the NBA and the NFL, there weren't that many players to compare yourselves to. Now we've seen so many extraordinary athletic events, whether it's football with Tom Brady and Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, or it's basketball with Michael Jordan and Kobe, or with golf, it's Tiger and Jack, or, you know, or baseball. I mean, there's a litany of players in baseball that have just performed at a high level. So to do something actually extraordinary gets harder and harder. And the kind of money these guys are making, I mean, if you were making this type of money, Ryan, would you really be up at 6 a.m. in the gym every single morning if you were making $230 million? You know what I mean? Like, and it was guaranteed or whatever. You know, so the kind of money these guys are making, the kind of attention that they get, you know, it wasn't like back when Willie Mays played. I was listening to a story about Willie Mays. He had like an insurance job in the summer because he was making like $5,000 or something. You know what I mean? So things have changed, and the players have to do something extraordinary for their cards to do something extraordinary. Otherwise, it's like Tatum. I mean, I'm actually shocked to see Tatum. You know, like I'd figure, I mean, and the Celtics are kind of a unique organization, very similar to the Lakers, where they win a title and it's kind of like, finally, you know, like if you're a Celtics player and you're a Celtics fan, you know what I'm talking about. Very similar to being a Patriots fan, similar to being maybe like a 49ers fan. You kind of have Lakers fan for sure, Yankees fan as well. When the players come in, you are expected to win. You don't actually get that excited when they win. It's kind of like, this is what you were brought in here to do. So I'm actually pretty surprised Tatum cards have not performed well at all. And so you really have to do something extraordinary. This is what makes it very difficult to kind of play the pops and drops, if you will, in the markets. And this is why we've probably seen guys really drift towards the repacking and all the types of grifts that we're seeing, is because, I mean, this is incredibly hard to make any kind of money. You know, you could have had Jason Tatum and he could have won the NBA Finals and your cards would be down. It's pretty brutal. So yeah, and again, we have the NBA draft going on tonight, and so it just makes me think, like, what are these guys going to have to do to get us excited? I mean, if the boxes were $80 for a hobby box like they used to be, it might be you could do a little prospecting, but like somebody pointed out, the boxes are going to be the same price. There might be a little more content in there. It could be, instead of 2 autographs, maybe you're getting 3 or 4, because none of these guys are commanding, you know, Fanatics exclusives and stuff. But this doesn't look good to me. Doesn't look good to me at all. Is this year 20? No, we're on 24, 25.
This is this year, 23-24. Wembanyama stuff.
This is the Wembanyama stuff.
Mhm.
So this stuff's
I
going to
don't.
be, this stuff's still sitting around.
This stuff might be a bargain if you look back and unopened sealed wax might be a bargain. How much 09, 010 stuff can you find? How much 03, 04 stuff can you find? Even if the single cards don't appreciate that much, you might want to dip back and open some Wembanyama. Especially, we're going to be talking about some guys blowing their wedding budget on sports cards. So you have unopened wax. I mean, that is like crack cocaine. That is like Hunter Biden's, Christmas gift right here is this stuff. So yeah, a Panini Select box, 12 packs, 5 cards per pack,
Ooh.
60 cards is $550 this year. I mean, you're probably looking at 24, 25 being the same price, and this is who you're chasing. Alexandre Shaw, Reed Shepard, Stephon Castle, Ron Holland. Names that don't exactly roll off the tongue quite yet. But you said, hey, are any of these guys going to pop in value? Hey, maybe they are going to pop in value because there's no hype on any of these guys. So if they do anything, if they have 25 points in a summer league game, maybe it gets people excited, or a good highlight or something, or a good step back. That's all it took with Luka, people. It was, oh my God, look at his step back. So we shall see.
But are we past that stage though? You know what I mean? Like, are we past that stage in the hobby? Because Tatum cards have been going down. I think Wembanyama cards have been trending down as well. Are we past that stage?
I still think
because Wembanyama had a great year.
The wax will do well because it's an addiction. It's literally an addiction for some of these people. So you can put anything in front of them. You could put shit in a box branded by Panini or Topps, and they're probably going to open it as long as some of the shit has like shimmer or gold, neon, pulsar parallels or whatever. You give them some kind of chase. Now you are going to have to hype some of these guys up, but the general media, the basketball world, and the sports card world will certainly latch on to one or two of these guys, maybe right after the summer league. If somebody does something in the summer league, we'll be talking about that guy for 2 months. At least Breakers will, because they've got to hype the new thing. Can't just keep opening up 2023 basketball next year. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get it affordably enough. And the interest won't be there. People want the new thing. And if you want the new thing, head over to cbhobby.com and save 10% with the promo code Will Greer. But I think we should talk about this. I think we should talk about some of this money that gets spent in this industry. This comes courtesy of Yanks Chicks. She's sharing this post that was posted on Reddit. Suze works for CSG, the grading company. Used to work at Beckett. Used to work at Topps. This is from Reddit. It says, my boyfriend is a card addict. Okay, so my boyfriend always had a spending problem and he didn't have any savings. So recently he got into sports cards, and although I don't understand it, I never really discouraged him. Everyone has their hobby, and I respect it. He had a mild addiction about a year ago and promised me that he wouldn't buy another card until he had around $6,000 in his bank account. I've seen him trade occasionally, and since I'm usually away from work, I don't really know what he's bought and traded. We were supposed to save up for our wedding and future, and I asked him, how much balance does he have in his bank account to see what kind of wedding we could afford? And he said he only had $600 in his bank account, and he spent $12,000 in the past year on sports cards. I am shook, and I have no idea what to do, and I feel betrayed. He kept me in the dark, and this has a huge blow on our relationship. I don't know if I can trust him anymore. We'll get into the comments of this post, but I wanted to give you a moment as somebody who's married, as somebody who's probably spent more than $12,000 on sports cards this year yourself.
Maybe.
What are your thoughts? I know that I have. What are your thoughts on this man having $600 in his account and blowing his wedding budget?
I mean, I tell you what, if you spend it right, 12,000 on cards versus a wedding. I mean, a wedding, you dust the money just gets dusted off right away. Now, if you invite a lot of people and they bring gifts and they give you money and you do the money dance and all that other stuff, you can come out. I can't remember how much money we came out. We had a pretty big wedding, and so
Did you come up on your wedding? Did you come up, or was it an expense?
I mean, I don't remember. I don't remember coming out of my own pocket for my own wedding. Usually you have parents that of one side or the other or both put up some of the money. Obviously not everybody's in that situation, but I do remember having several $1,000s at the end of the wedding. We had a money dance. There was people just gave us money. We got lots of gifts. Sometimes you'd get like 9 crock pots or whatever. So you would return some and you would get the money back for the crock pot or whatever. Not everybody's in that situation, and I get it. But in terms of what is a better investment is probably spending the money on the baseball cards. Now, if you're buying into breaks, if you're buying, just kind of willy-nilly, that 12K is probably worth maybe 3K, as we've seen with Filthbomb breaks and others. Kind of, you start putting the pencil to the math, and unless you're getting homie hookup on the spots, it's not that great. But also having money in a bank account, I know we're in a slightly higher interest rate environment where you're earning a little bit of interest on your money in your bank account, but for a while there, before interest rates went up, I never had any money in my bank account. And I remember it took a while for my wife to kind of understand. I was like, you don't make, leaving money in a bank account is the stupidest thing you can possibly do. This is when interest rates were 0 and you didn't get any money for a checking account. So I literally, for the longest time, would have $100 or $200 in my bank account. I would transfer it to a brokerage account. I'd put it in the stock market. I would spend the money. And now that's changed a little bit. I have a little bit more cash than I normally do, only because you're earning 4.5%, 5% on it. So, but when interest rates go back down, that'll change. But yeah, I don't know. I think I think it depends on what he spent the 12K on. And I think if she's feeling this right now, then maybe going through the wedding is not a good idea. So you should, figure all this out now. Because if he's dusting 12K off right now and he doesn't have 600 in his account, I mean, it's only going to get worse as time goes on. And the money's only, you start having kids, you spending money all the time on this shit. You know what I mean? Like if I was making the kind of money I am now back 5-7 years ago, man, I'd felt way rich. Now I feel broke, so I don't know. I don't know. We've seen these types of posts. We've seen this types of stuff in the hobby. I think you can have fun in this hobby, having a budget and those types of things. I mean, I spent $250 on Michael Jordan cards today, and I was fired up about it. So, and I think I spent $250 on an aquarium. My son wanted an aquarium. I've been buying all this stuff for that too. So, but the Jordan cards was a great deal. So I counted 4 of the cards. There was 106 cards for $250, but just 4 of the cards totaled at least $150. So I was getting all the other cards for $1 each, and the rest of the cards were any Michael Jordan card for $1 is a pretty good deal, but there was several in there that would sell for $4, $5, $6, $7. So, it just depends. If you're a collector, you got to be a little more careful, I think. And, but if you're buying this stuff to flip and you have the right mindset, you don't have this kind of buy and hold forever mindset that was kind of ingrained in a lot of people during the pandemic. You don't have like the go to Target and buy the blaster mindset. Instead, you're going to cbhobby.com using the promo code Will Grier and saving 10%. Look, 12K. You could, I mean, if you're buying the wax and you're not even opening it, 12K might be a great investment. You might have a hell of a wedding here in like 2 years. Webanyama averages 28 points next year, and you bought at 12K of wax from last year, and you saved 10%. You're probably going to like make 30, 40% on your money, even after fees. So it depends on what he spent the $12K on. And I would just encourage him to talk to his wife, because that's what I've done with my wife. Sees me buy a Rolex. She knows I'm the kind of person, I'll buy a Rolex, but the minute it goes up in value, I sell it. These are the ones I buy on the secondary. The ones I get from the AD I keep. But the ones I get on the secondary market, you took delivery of the Daytona that I bought. I had that motherfucker for like a year and it doubled in value. And I was like, fuck this. I'm selling this. Same with, I had the Batman for a while. Had the Batman. That went up like $4,000 or $5,000. I sold it. So I'm of the attitude, I buy shit and then it goes up in value and I sell it. I don't really worry about it. We've got a bunch of cards in the safe. There's comic books in there. There's cards sitting around here. You know, we can always sell them. A wedding, you know, your wedding day is less important than kind of like what happens after the wedding. So I think
isn't
women,
that like, isn't that like the worst investment is a fucking wedding? Like you're just blowing somebody's money on this thing, on a ceremony that half the time you guys don't even stay married for a few years.
yeah, I think from a guy's perspective, it's kind of like, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but for a girl, it's slightly
she's tripping.
different.
Yeah,
She's tripping. She needs her family there. She wants, you know, it's kind of like a rite of passage. It's really her day. She's kind of the superstar. A lot of women kind of like live for that type of thing. They, you know, they want the day where the you know, they're on the red carpet. All the pictures are being taken of her. She's got her 4 or 5 friends or whatever that are all slightly overweight, but still single, you know, holding the dress and all those types of things. Like that's what women like live for. It is kind of the wedding. And most women, not all, but it sounds like this is the type of girl that wants to have that wedding with the camera popping, with people there, you know, basically kissing her feet, having the husband basically just be a simp the whole time. And
cheap wedding though. Cheap wedding. 12K is not very much for a wedding. Like that is like
no,
what
yeah,
spend on a fucking caterer.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's definitely not.
It's
Definitely not. Yeah. And look, money comes and goes. You can always make more money. You can always make, you know, I always tell my wife, you know, the answer to California and taxes and all the BS and inflation and Bidenomics, just make more money. That's always the answer. It's not, oh, let me cut my Netflix subscription. Let me stop driving. Let me walk to the grocery store. Fuck that. Just make some fucking more money. That's all you have to do. And there's a lot of hours in the day. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Just make some more money. And look, and again, if I had the choice, 12K on baseball cards I could flip, or 12K on a wedding, I'd take the baseball cards all day if you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, we're taking the cards. Speaking of money, John Winkler with the $4.99 says, "Don't talk about Jab's family. Minions are primed for you." The minions don't realize I've been subscribed to Jab's family Patreon for the better part of 6 months, 7, 8, 10 months. Like
half of his minions can't afford the Patreon, brother.
Yeah, none of his minions were in the break the other night that he boo-booed either. They just come to defend him. Or come to assume that I'm going to say something negative about him.
We might,
but let's wait until we decide what we're going to talk about first. Joe Barrett with the $5 Barry Lamar Bonds cards to the moon. The greatest living player, quite obviously, is Barry Bonds. You guys are fucking morons if you think it's anybody else. $150K for Anthony Volpe 1 of 1, or a Barry Lamar Bonds cards. I think DA Card World has a $150,000 bounty out for a Anthony Volpe 1 of 1.
Is that still a thing? I
think so. Yeah,
really?
I think so.
Yeah, the guy sell the card almost immediately.
Hopefully. I hope so. I hope he didn't decide to send it to PWCC or whatever these dorks are doing these days.
Oh, God.
In the comments, the number one comment to this post on Reddit said, have him, if he steal his phone and delete whatnot. And there were several people chiming in here saying that this was a problem for them as well. One guy said, I have this problem and I can't stop. I've turned off alerts, which has helped for me a bit. I didn't use it for 5 days, but went back on. Gonna start slanging soon, hopefully to make a profit. It sounds like drugs to me. It sounds like
Yeah.
whatnot is like drugs, and breaks are like drugs. Because no rational person would you can't sit here and rationally tell somebody, hey, go spend your money on these breaks and go on log into whatnot and go to Jab's family and do all this. It's a hobby. It's for entertainment. Very few people hit the Anthony Volpe that they're going to get paid out $100,000 for. Happens like, it's like once in a lifetime. And when you go to these comments in this Reddit thread, it's like, yeah, absolutely. I had to delete it. I was a casual collector, would buy a blaster here and there if I could find one. Spent over $1,000 on breaks in under a month. It's unregulated gambling and nothing more. Glad I came to my senses before I did any more damage. And so, yeah, I think that it's basically the wild, wild west. It's unregulated gambling. And we've seen with Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, what people are spending on breaks doesn't correlate to the single card market. The single card market has declined for the better part of 2 or 3 years. People are over sports cards. People are totally over sports cards. These are not cool anymore. Damn near equivalent to NFTs in a lot of people's minds, and Beanie Babies.
I think
People are
also
still into gambling.
I think that the price to gamble is far exceeding the value that you're getting. It was always a gamble, okay? To buy into breaks and all those types of things. I think with Fanatics coming in and Panini realizing they're leaving, thousands and thousands of dollars on the table, and Fanatics' way to 10x the hobby is to kind of capture a lot of that margin that they were leaving on the table, either, because like how often, Ryan, would we get somebody would get dropped off a case and somebody would come to like our Facebook DMs or whatever and like laugh at us and be like, ha ha ha, 2021 select got dropped off and I just made 15K. That doesn't happen no more. People ain't bragging about their allocation no more. People ain't bragging about, oh, I got a case of this product. In fact, I listen to breakers now and it's, I had to buy, it's like the old days. I had to buy 12 cases of this to get 12 cases of that I could actually make money on. And now, the margin, and then we just had, what's his name? The Cards Infinity guy, he retired. You know what I mean? Like if it was still a gravy train, he ain't retiring. The gravy train's over. It lasted for like a year or two. These companies finally wised up and now they're charging out the ass for this shit. And so in turn, the breaker has to turn around and either be like Filthbomb and chop it 19, it's like Coke. It comes from Colombia. It's pure as fucking snow. And then it gets cut up fucking in Mexico. And then it gets cut up at the border. Then it gets cut up again by your dealer. And then it gets cut up again. And by the time you put it up your nose, it's a bunch of garbage. And that's basically where we're at with these breaks. By the time it ends up making its way to the break, it's $900 for a fucking Yankee spot where, like, yeah, if you hit the Volpe, that's 150K, but God, no, like one guy a year hits that. So it's tough. I think the price of the breaks and the price of the product is just exceeding, it just really exceeds the value that you're going to get in the box. And not that we need to like have a ton of value in this box or in every box. It's always been gambling from day one of the hobby, but boy, it's really tipped to one way or the other. And then a lot of times you're buying in these breaks, anything that you do pull in order to then break again, what do you got to do? You got to go sell all your shit. So there's just not enough people out there collecting these cards either. There's just not enough people out there collecting. There's a few players that are collected and that their prices have held up maybe a little bit, but there's just not that many people actually collecting these cards. And especially the modern guy. Okay, we're not talking about Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant here. We're talking about, the fourth pick of last year's NBA draft. I didn't even know who it is. So I couldn't even tell you the second pick of last year's NBA draft, let alone this year. But like nobody's going to be collecting these guys. Nobody. Unless you like knew them in high school or you're a super fan of the Wizards. On Alexandre Shar, Nobody cares about this guy. The only reason why you might care is you hit him in a break, or some influencer is going to tell you this guy's good.
He
And
averaged
that's it.
9 points last year. He averaged 9
9
points in
points.
one block.
9 points. I did that in a recreation league before. So
Is your name gonna come up right here? Is your name gonna come up?
it might. That'd be great. I'll sign all my redemption cards too. So I think we've just seen it tip. It swings so far one way. Nothing gets put on sale except at cbhobby.com with the promo code. Nothing gets put on sale, and it's so expensive. It really has turned into kind of a rich man's hobby. And people used to laugh. Like, I'd be like, why am I buying a picture of man? I'm buying a Rolex Daytona. Fucking a case of cards costs more than a Rolex Daytona these days. I mean, this is one box for $450, $500. And there's probably 15 boxes, 20 boxes in a case. I mean, it's insane.
You can save 10%. At least you can save 10%.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get into this, might as well save some money.
I guess so.
But yeah, I think that's what's happening right now. Jeff Wilson gave some insight into the breaking on the breaking side of things, being a breaker, how that's not easy as well. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows out here in the sports card world and the sports card hobby. A lot of it is, you're feeding. I became addicted to Whatnot without even noticing it. Finally, I came when I realized I was getting packages every day from breaks I bought into. Best thing I did was deleting the app. I still collect, but nowhere near as reckless as when I had that app. And the app they're talking about is Whatnot. So very interesting stuff. I did go to a card show. Speaking of spending money, I went to this card show in San Ramon on Sunday. I bought all these cards for $11, although I gave them a $20 and let them keep the $9 because I thought I got a pretty good deal. It ended up being about 330 cards. The Marv Levy's like a $20 bill. Some of these other ones, there's nothing like explosive in value in here, but these autographs ended up being like 3 cents each. So shout out to the very amateur dealers at the Tri-Valley Card Show in San Ramon, where for $11, I was able to, I think I individually listed about, 75, 100 cards. And then the rest, I'm going to put in a lot or put in a 50-cent bin or $1 bin at a card show and sell them. Or actually, I sold 2 cards already that paid for the whole thing. A CD Lamb rookie card that was worth like $10 and a Gronk, like orange prism refractor or something for like $5. So it paid for the whole thing.
Wow.
I don't know what you want to talk about next. I don't know if we wanted to get into our hobby heroes quite yet. I don't know if we wanted to get into Mr. Vintage Sports Shack getting threatened. I don't know if we got to talk about that before we talk about the national, but I did want to mention the national. We got the biggest idiots in sports cards I want to talk about. And of course, the minions are waiting for us to talk about Mr. Jab's family and the break he had last night. So I don't know, which hobby hero do you want to start with? Do you want to talk about Jeff? You want to talk about Mr. Shaq? You want to talk about Mary Gamble and her 7,600 followers? About time. This girl's getting some following over here. Fucking following Mr. Man Bun over here. No offense to the guy. But my God, this is what y'all want to 37,000 of you. Now, how many are real? We don't know. Our girl Don Diego has 42,000 followers.
Are they real?
I don't know. But there was a guy in our comments. Remember, he was saying, we were so jealous that you have less followers than so-and-so. So now everybody we talk about in the hobby, we're going to check to see how many Instagram followers they have. Because apparently that is kind of the metric to success.
It's not how many Rolexes you have. It's how many followers you have.
Absolutely not. The kids today, all they care about is followers and likes and views.
It's not how many Teslas you have.
Absolutely not.
How many homes?
Old boy.
Have mortgages on.
Nope. Not at all. This dude who spent 12 racks, he's like, yeah, but I got 600 likes when I showed that fucking Bryce Young card, the Bryce Young kaboom I had. It got 600 likes. You don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. I didn't post this on social media because I figured it wouldn't get a lot of likes.
You just shared it on your live stream though.
I did because hey, who doesn't want a $5 Patrick Mahomes for 3 cents? Come on, guys. Anthony
Nothing wrong with
Miller
that.
for 3 cents. Marv Levy for 3 cents. Whoever that
Nothing
guy
wrong with
is.
that.
Come on. Give me $12,000 worth of 3-cent autographs and I'll be super happy.
I know.
Should we talk about our boy Vintage Sports Shack, who was not shy? Certainly not shy. Our boy Mike Petty came on the program last week. He called in, and I thought it was fantastic. And I think the thing that Mike Petty said that I thought was interesting is, man, a lot of these content creators are boring as fuck. Disagree or agree with Vintage Sports Shack, at least he's entertaining, whether it's the dancing at the end, whether it's who he's discussing, whether you agree or disagree, at least it's somewhat entertaining. Well, he's got the haters on his trail because apparently somebody has been calling him. He played the voicemail on his video where the guy is threatening to confront him at the National. We have had some experience with haters, with people saying they're going to spit at our face. Certainly we're not not intimidated to go to a card show. I was at one this weekend. But what are your thoughts about psychos in this industry threatening content creators?
I mean, I think it kind of sometimes comes with the territory. Depends on what you're talking about. I think sometimes you look at the comments that the guy got on his Reddit post or whatever. There's a lot of people that are just like addicted. You know, they're addicted to these cards and they're addicted to the positivity as well. And I think both of those things can be addictive. Is the positivity posse is addictive, and the cards and the method that you're buying the cards can be certainly addictive. And then you got a guy like Cardcheck that gets on there and maybe doesn't show the same addictive nature that maybe you do. And I think some people look at our content and sometimes think of it that way, that everything we talk about, Ryan, is negative because we don't have the addictive nature. We don't have the, oh my God, Zuka Zumba Zimbabwe just got drafted #1 in the NBA draft. You know,
To the moon.
Oh my God, I gotta go get some fucking of his cards. I never heard of him before.
Bazulis. Look at this
Oh
guy.
my
You
God.
want to invest in this fucker?
There will be guys that will. There'll be guys
Yeah.
that will. G League. He was in the G League. I mean, there's gonna be guys that will. That already are hyping this guy. Okay, if you're a Bulls fan, longtime Bulls fan, you've been rooting for him since Michael Jordan. I mean, it's been rough. So, you know, but I don't think Matthias,
Scott Josh Giddey,
whatever. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work for you guys. So, yeah, I mean, the haters come with the territory. I personally, I mean, I think calling him out and being upfront about it, I think is probably the right thing to do. Standing up to, I wouldn't necessarily call the guy that's hating on him like a bully, but that's how you get people off your nuts, is you just stand up to them. They want you to be like wither on a vine, but if you stand up to them and you're like, you kind of grab your crotch, that's what you got to do. When you're from Stockton, California, you learn this like in 2nd grade, that if you don't fucking talk back to people, then you're going to get picked on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at school, or 5 days a week at school. So you better fucking sack up and talk shit on people. Otherwise you're going to get whacked in a public school system like Stockton had. So, you know, we learned this a long time ago. Anybody tries to pull up, you just try to pull up even harder. And then if it gets even, you know, more serious than that. And then he brought up some stuff. I don't know if I would go this direction, because all this stuff can work against you in the court. Because if you do get in a confrontation with somebody, a district attorney, depending on what state you're in, They're going to pull up all this shit and say it's premeditated. They're going to say all this shit you talking about right here is premeditation, and that you could have retreated. Just because you're in a state where there is stand your ground doesn't mean that the DA ain't going to bring the charges against you, and doesn't mean you're going to have to spend $100,000 on some attorneys to get off. So I'd be careful with the, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. That can all work against you. Just when a guy pulls up, take care of business. And everybody in this world should know, if you pull up on somebody, it could get serious really quick. But I don't think you necessarily need to do this, only because, and look, I'm applauding him. I do like that he's a part of that lifestyle, but you got to be a little careful, because if it does get to a real situation, all of this works against you. All of your social media posts, all the stuff you said before the incident will be used against you in court. And depending on where you're at, depending on the district attorney, they might not like you. They might not like your politics. And then all of a sudden you get thrown behind bars while you defended yourself legally, but they're not going to care. You're going to have to win that in court to get out. So I think you got to, dance around that subject a little bit, but haters come with the territory. The more people that are hating on you, the more people that are watching. A hater's view and a follow counts the same, Ryan, as got a, somebody that loves you. And at some point that hater might be converted into a fan. And I think Sports Car Radio does still lead the league in converted haters into fans. We've had many, many, many people that have told us, I hated the show, I hated you guys, but now I watch every single week because I realized all these other fucking dorks, all they do is talk about how they spent $10,000 at the Chantilly card show on a picture of a man, but they're living still in some broken down apartment and driving a Honda Subaru. So, or a Honda Civic.
Talking about Eric
Honda
Whiteback?
Subaru.
Are you talking about Eric Whiteback?
Eric Whiteback. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't he show a picture of himself one day and he was driving a Subaru? It was like, come on.
Yeah. It's been my experience with the haters that, all of this is just tough talk. And when you show up to the national, when you show up to the national in these card shows, people got their head down looking at the dollar bins, looking at the expensive cases. They don't care about a confrontation. They don't care about any of this stuff. And there's been tough talk, and I'm going to confront this person or this company or whatever at these card shows. And it never, ever, ever happens. I think one of the only fights that I know of that happened at the national were between two distributors, Peach State and Gold River, because the Gold River guy crashed the Peach State dinner at the offsite. That was actually in Cleveland. The last time, I think the national was in Cleveland. There was a fight at the Rock and Roll Bar. Peach State had all their whales in the room. Probably Leighton Sports Cards was in there. And the Gold River guy was like, hey, I'm going to come too. And he showed up and there was a little fisticuff. That's the only legit fight that I've ever seen, because the distributors actually hate each other. These other people and the content creators, and sometimes you might chirp at somebody, but you're not going to confront them at a card show. I mean, how stupid would that look? You confront a guy at a card show over the videos he made. I mean, my God, what a waste of fucking time and energy that would be. So I don't imagine anything will happen. Hopefully Vintage Sports Shack isn't scared. If we were in Cleveland, we would be a part of his entourage and keep the haters at bay. And yeah, you just fire back at these guys. I think a lot of these content creators, they've gotten so boring is because they're scared of the comments section and they're scared of the chat and they're scared to say anything and get canceled. So it's become so boring. It's, collect what you like, guys. Oh God, I can't wait. It's so much fun. Wear comfortable shoes to the national. At least, hey, say what you want about Vintage Sports Shack. At least he's mildly entertaining. That's for goddamn sure, especially the dancing. So fuck the haters. They're going to be there either way. And they're not going to do anything. One reason why we're never scared is because these haters live in the Midwest. So that's a long Greyhound bus ride or a long flight out to California. So we ain't never been scared of these motherfuckers. Now, if you're a little closer to them, hey, maybe they're within driving distance to you. These guys who leave comments and say they're going to come beat you up. Come on. They're 30 pounds overweight and live in a double wide trailer in Iowa. Certainly not somebody I would be scared of. What you shouldn't be scared of is putting that promo code Will Greer into cbhobby.com. If you're going to be spending $12,000 I hope that guy who spent $12,000 used the promo code, because then he would have actually more money in his bank.
He'd have $1,200.
He'd have $1,200 in his account and still have the same amount of cards. So hopefully, if you're spending your wedding budget, you're coming over here and putting in the fucking promo code.
It's a great idea.
10% is like a real number. And if you spend over $250, get free shipping. So 10% is a real fucking number. So put that promo code in and tell me what you got. Who should we talk about next? Should we talk about the National? I do want to briefly, this is not going to be a long discussion, but, and to the people who say, you would never go up to these guys at a card show, or guess who took that picture of Jeff Wilson, Colin? Who do you think took that picture of Jeff Wilson?
Roth cards.
No, guess again. Who do you think took that picture of Jeff Wilson?
Mary Gamble.
No. Try again. Me. I took that picture of Jeff Wilson. Yeah. I didn't even know what his name was, though. That's the funny thing. I was like, hey, isn't that the guy who makes videos? I'm going to go see how he sets that deal up. That was in 2021. You might be able to see one of your hobby heroes coming up in a few weeks at the Cleveland National. That starts, goddamn, like a month from today. We're like 4 weeks away from the National. The thing that I noticed, and I don't know if there's a reason for this, but last year, these motherfuckers, it was in Chicago. Remember, the AC went out. They sold out of super VIP tickets, and I don't know how many they sold, but they sold out of those in January. 6 months before the show. Last year, they were sold out of super VIP tickets. I noticed, and I don't know if that's the same thing, but you can still go over to the National website 4 weeks before the show and get all access VIP package for $329. Now, what about the regular VIP? This sold out last year, or actually around this time, about a month before the show. All VIP tickets sold out for the Chicago show. And you can still go over to the National website and get the basic VIP package or the all access. I don't know if that's the same as the super or not, but there are still plenty of VIP packages available. I don't know if it's a bigger venue. I don't know if they're selling more tickets. I don't know if it's less demand. I don't know if people don't want to go to Cleveland.
What about the autograph? Is the autograph guest not as good?
Well, it's going to be expensive.
Something. I
mean, come on.
But I was at the Sacramento card show and people were lining up, to pay $100 for a guy like Dennis Rodman, I'm pretty sure you can get Dennis Rodman autographs like pretty frequently for under 100. But people were lining up because you get it on that item that you have, or you're trying to get 4 or 5 signatures on an item. I mean, I don't know. Nobody really jumped out on me.
But how many autographs is the guy really signing? How many? A guy is only going to sign a few hundred autographs at most, and then he's going to dip. So, I mean, these can bring in people, and when you have enough athletes, it does bring in a lot of people. And even when it was the Crickets convention, there were a lot of people lined up to get these autographs. But to me, the draw in the last few years have been the Pelican Case boys and the influencer crowd going to this thing. And now, anecdotally, I just feel like the vibes aren't what they were. Even before Jeff Wilson came along and told you guys to buy cards, I felt more excitement about the National building around this time. To me, it's been the hype and the anticipation. Maybe I'm just following the wrong circles. Certainly, I'm not excited about. I don't know who would be excited about going to Cleveland, or why you would be excited about this. The internet won't work. The ATMs will run out of money. The AC may or may not work. I think they were going to tear this building down, and it sat idle for years. So don't eat the food or drink the water is my guess. Good luck getting an Uber out of that motherfucker at certain times. So I'm wondering if people have finally wised up. I'm wondering if there are just other shows that aren't as good, but are equivalent, that people go to all throughout the Midwest and all over this country, where you can get a similar experience to a national. And of course, we have the Fanatics Fest just a few weeks later in New York City that we're going to attend, and the Burbank Sports Card Show just a few weeks after that. Again, we will be at that. So are we just hating on the national because we won't be there? Or is it weird that they still have?
I mean, I
VIP
think it could be a slightly bigger venue without not being at the venue and knowing what they look like you do. I would assume maybe there's more tickets to be sold this year, but I think you hit on a good point. There's so many card shows going on all the time. We're not just Fanatics Fest and Burbank Cards, which are like bang bang a week after each other. There's a Dallas card show that people really, seem to like. There's, ones across the Midwest. There's ones in Florida. I mean, there's card shows all over the place now. A lot of regional shows. There's one in San Diego. I mean, they're everywhere now. It used to be that this was like kind of it. And then with COVID, with events kind of getting back opened up, there was kind of a pent up demand to go do something, and I think that has kind of worn off. Everybody's gone on the vacation. Everybody's spent their stimulus check money, except for Jeff Wilson, maybe. Everybody has kind of spent all of their money. And so now it's like, do I really want to go to Cleveland when maybe you can go to Chicago? It's also not necessarily like a family. I mean, imagine if you're unlike the guy on Reddit and you actually do get married, imagine going to your wife and being like, oh yeah, we're going to take a family trip to Cleveland this year. That's not exactly like Instagram post worthy type of thing. And so, I mean, unless you're dating or you're married to a really low class type of woman. So, I just don't really see. And think of all the companies too. Some of this was like corporate attendance as well. Now you got to put the polo shirts on them and bring them to Cleveland. Then you got to go to New York. And then if you're coming out here to the West Coast, it's literally the week after. We will literally go to Fanatics Fest. And then literally, I think it's the week after, we're down in LA. So we're talking about, like pretty big expense for Fanatics Fest. And then if you want to go to the Burbank show, which we haven't been to the Burbank show, but everything that we've heard about it, people really, really like the Burbank show. And so if you live out here anywhere like west of Arizona, are you really like, oh, I can't wait to get on a fucking plane and go to Cleveland? And then, like you said, can you get an Uber at 5:30 when the doors are shutting down or whenever?
Nope.
Are you going to be able to get an Uber?
Nope.
Probably not. Where's your hotel? I've already had people talk about their hotels
30
that are like
away.
30 minutes away. We're going to be at the Pendry. It's like 10-minute walk.
It's going to be like $220 to get back to your Uber at prime time during the national.
Yeah. Mojo Break saying that lodging is difficult at the national. And I got to imagine if you're a company and you're paying for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people to go, this is tough. I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. I think kind of the shine of it has worn off. We have a lot of competing events, not just Fanatics Fest, not just Burbank, but just your weekly hotel 40 table card show. You don't need to necessarily go across the country and spend all this money to go to this. And then at the same time, all these guys, they ain't going to have these type of prices. Everybody there is going to have everything jacked up to the max. Like you said, the internet may not work. So if you're there trying to do comps and all that other bullshit, good luck with that. And then if the AC don't work, forget about it. So me personally wouldn't be an event. I would be,
blasters for $6. Nobody's gonna have those.
Yeah, it's probably not. University of Notre Dame blasters. There you go. Even
There's
those.
Absolute for
for
$6.
6. Yeah,
Should have bought all
there you go.
those.
Should have. Yeah, you were filming. You were the sucker. You should have been buying. $5. Look at that. Gridiron
No
6.
shit.
Blasters
Y'all
for
ever seen
days.
that?
$6.
Y'all ever seen that before? You guys ever?
This is
This is why. This is why it's easy for us to not open product because of the prices now. It's like I remember when that shit was $5.
Exactly.
Now it's 40.
Yeah. Joe Biden's economy, guys. So yeah,
Bowman for 10.
Yeah. And the only reason
Bryce
why we're going to
Harper's rookie
Fanatics.
year.
Yeah, there it is. The only reason why we're going to Fanatics Fest is because it's not a card show. It's more of an event.
Yeah.
And so I'm more excited about that. The restaurants around New York City. That's what I'm excited about. And we've already got some things lined up in New York City, Ryan, that should be very exciting. So much more exciting than probably Fanatics Fest. So
Then a $10 2012 Bowman Blaster.
We can be spending that. We can be spending that to get into the bar, probably. So,
Yeah, probably.
so it's going to be exciting. So, but hey, this is certainly not a segment to discourage people from going. If you're already going to Cleveland, if this is what you want to do, certainly if you live in Ohio, shit, if I lived in Ohio, I would go. If I lived in what's around Ohio, Michigan and Indiana and some of these other states where it's not that far, yeah, I would go. But out here in California, fuck that. Fuck that. I'll fly to New York City and then I'll fly back and I'll go to LA. Like, that's what I'll do. If you live in Dallas or Austin or one of these, hot hit places, are you really paying to leave one of these hot hit places to go to Cleveland? No, you're not. You're not.
And pay New York pricing. You're gonna be paying New York pricing for Ubers, and if you haven't booked your hotel, you're gonna be paying New York pricing for hotels.
And be 30, 40 minutes away.
Right. You're going to have to schedule when you leave, because if you're trying to get a car, or if you don't have a car, try to rent a car right now. I bet a fucking trying to rent a car is a nightmare.
No, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely no thanks. But hey, if you're, like you said, if you're within driving distance and you don't go,
I would
for $25. I mean, come on. I spent $10 to get into the San Ramon fucking card show this weekend.
Exactly.
So, I mean, for $25, there's not a bigger deal than that if you're within driving distance.
All day long, I would go.
Come on. Like, what are we even talking about here? Now, there's not going to be $10 2013 Bowman Chrome blaster boxes.
No.
And look how much price. This is 10 years ago. Look how much prices have changed. This is why we don't open wax. Because it's easy for us. It's easy. $7 blaster boxes.
I mean, let's be real. If CB Hobby had $7 blasters with a 10% off promo code, we'd have bought them all.
Topps Chrome baseball's coming out pretty soon. $10. $10 for a blaster.
Man.
And look at stacks of them. Stacks of them.
Like a year after it came out.
Of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
So the hobby's changed quite a bit. And
big time.
Big time. It's hard for even us to adjust to it. It's very, very difficult even for us to, because this is what I remember is $10 fucking clearance blasters. And now people are beating each other up to get them at fucking Walmart. And breakers are breaking them live in I was watching Mojo Break today. Apparently a guy bought a blaster in Walmart, took it over to the fucking camping section and broke it live from Walmart. And did a break live from Walmart.
Okay. Hey,
so I mean, this hobby has gotten psycho.
It's huge.
Like Vintage Sports Shack said, this hobby has definitely gone psycho. Don't go psycho and spend your wedding money on a wedding. Go over here and spend that on fucking cards. cbhobby.com. I probably, speaking of Michael Jordan, I've probably sold like 7 cards in the last 24 hours. Those Michael Jordan cards just snap sell. Any condition, any fucking year, if you have them priced right, they move.
These are where's the ones? These are like $3 each. I mean, I snap sell these for $2.99, and they got team corners, and you can get these for like
trashed.
You get these for like $1. I've got like 70 of them here that I got for $1 each, and I just snap sell them for $3. One a day. I mean, snap sell like one day, so this will last me another 2 months.
Yeah. NBA draft going on. Lakers are coming up on the clock. You have not been picked yet,
Dang.
but a number of other people,
Everybody else
breakers
has.
everywhere. Breakers everywhere are going to be latching on to one or two or three of these guys telling you, God, you need to get Nikola Topic cards from Serbia.
Huh.
Got to load up on those guys. So we shall see. Stefan Castle, if he does play with Victor Wembanyama, that's an interesting pairing. And maybe somebody, if you're an investor type, you want to look at. But who should we talk about next? Do we need to finally get into one of these fucking stupid hobby heroes?
I think it's about time. Yeah.
The people have waited long enough.
Yes.
Let's talk about your hero, your legend, the man this industry has put up on a pedestal for the better part of several years. He's got it. The man who told you that Will Greer was a 4 times better investment than Kyler Murray because he was using data from 538. Well, he has pivoted. Remember, Jeff Wilson went from the sports card investor to the sports card seller because he opened a 14,000 square foot hobby shop in Atlanta, Georgia, or a suburb of it. And he has been open for 4 months. And he says he has done $4 million in sales in the first 4 months. And now, before people are like, oh my God, he must be buying yachts or he must be balling. That's $1 million a month. I could think of 5 group breakers off the top of my head that I know do more than $1 million a month in sales. I mean, it speaks to the whatnot thing and the card addiction thing. I could literally name 4 or 5 group breakers that do over $1 million a month in sales. I also could point to a break that Backyard Breaks did very recently that in one day, in 4 hours, they sold $500,000 worth of stuff. Backyard Breaks might be doing $10 million a month in sales. So to put that in comparison, because sometimes I think people see 4 million and they think, oh, that's massive. He must be balling. Not so much. This would put Jeff Wilson in the mid-tier of sports card businesses. And there are breakers that probably you haven't heard of that do $1 million a month in sales. But having said all that, Jeff Wilson said his in-store sales, so people coming into his store and buying stuff, has been very strong in the main part of his business. He says live selling and breaking has ramped up, but it's much slower than he expected. He expected that his online business would be beating his in-store sales, and it's just not the truth. Jeff Wilson says he has been profitable off the $4 million in sales, but he's not buying yachts. Again, I think that's a direct quote from your hobby hero. They can't buy enough inventory, single card inventory, from the cards coming into their store for people to sell them. They have to supplement this and go to card shows like the National, like the Burbank Sports Card Show. I think the most interesting part was probably about, 30 minutes deep into this video where he talks about breaking. He has not been profitable doing group breaking. The breaking studios that they had, that I think they spent $10,000 each on, weren't up to par. They have to go back to the drawing boards on those. He said there were plenty of nights where they lost money doing group breaks, had nights where they lost thousands of dollars. I think he gave a very honest interpretation of the group breaking industry, that it's very, very hard and time intensive to make money. And you have to know the price points that your customers are willing to spend. You might have customers who are willing to spend $20 a spot. Well, you better be selling $20 a spot all fucking night long. Because if you try to get your $20 a hit cocaine guy to do $120, he's not going to do that. And if you start running those spots at auction, you're going to get killed on breaks. So he talked about price points and having to stay within those, and knowing, he called them customers, I'm going to call them addicts, knowing what your addicts are willing to spend on any given night. Have to read the room. And if you have $50 a day people that are addicted, you got to hit that price point. If you try to go above that, you could lose a lot of money. And so he hasn't found the magic potion for breaks. He hasn't found the magic potion for selling online. But in part, maybe they mentioned that maybe it's the new car smell of their business. Their in-store sales have been very, very strong, according to them. What do you think about Mr. Jeff Wilson selling $1 million a month down there in Atlanta?
I don't believe it for a minute. CB Hobby came in with a comment for $20 and was like, yeah, maybe he spent $4 million. He didn't make $4 million. I don't believe it. I don't believe any business. It's not, no offense to Jeff Wilson. I don't believe anybody that says I made XYZ in sales. You know what I mean? Like, I can show you guys my AdSense. Okay. $200 yesterday, $167 today, 4.3K. And last month, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I made 3,600. It was a bad month. So you saw it right there on the screen. That's how much I made. I'll pull up my eBay. Last 90 days, 3,133 on 392 items sold. A lot of cheap items. Okay. Unless a guy does that, I don't believe it. It doesn't just apply to Jeff Wilson. It applies to any company out there. Unless I see it, I don't believe it. Okay. I just don't. And maybe some of it is
what if we just take it at face value? Is $1 million a month? Is that gonna pay back?
No, he's
what can you make off $1 million a month?
Not much. Not much at his age. How much is he working? How much is he having to be in his store and then doing podcasts about it? Like, to me, it's like, it's not even like, it's not worth it. That doesn't seem like it's that great of a business to me. You have to be in your shop. You have to have employees there. You have to travel around the country, fill up suitcases, bring back inventory. And he's having trouble scaling it even bigger. So it's going to be even harder going forward. He can't scale his business now. That's going to get even harder. That's not going to get easier. That's going to get even harder to scale up your business, because everybody is now on the Fanatics watch. Everybody's got to get their shop in order. Everybody's got to make their shop look pretty. Also, 4 million in sales with the price of these boxes. It ain't $6 blasters anymore at $1 million a month. We talking about, an average hobby box is $300-$400 these days. So to do $1 million a month in sales, when your average sale price, like if I sold $1 million in Michael Jordan cards in a month, I'd be like, holy shit, I wouldn't even be able to do these live streams because I'd be on there packaging them all up all day. Because at $2 each or even $10 each, that's a shit ton of cards. But we're talking about all of the stuff that they have, and we're not even talking about gaming cards. Because I don't know what the split is. I don't even talk. I didn't listen to this podcast, but it's like, I don't know what the split is. Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Is it 70-30? Even if it's like that, like, we're not talking about a lot of, he's not, like you said, hey, an average or a slightly above average group breakers can do $1 million a month in sales. Well, he's doing all sports cards. Jeff Wilson's got a pretty big gaming presence probably. And so let's assume maybe he's 70-30 sports cards to gaming. Well, he's only doing, and I say only, $700,000 in sales a month in sports cards. That's not that impressive when you have group breakers in a single night, in a few hours, doing $500,000. And the fact that he's struggling scaling up his online presence, that's not good. That's a bad sign. And because, you should be able to scale this up pretty quickly. CB Hobby saying Jeff's sales are the same made up numbers he put on his PPP loan applications. I agree. Unless you see somebody show you their sales. And I showed you right here on my phone. I showed you my eBay. So one thing that we talk about is our eBay. And the other thing we talk about is our websites. Okay. And the other thing we could bring up is like YouTube. or whatever. And so I've got my YouTube up here, earn, analytics. I mean, unless a guy is doing this, here's my last 30 days, 1.2K on YouTube. That's not Sports Card Radio. That's a different channel. But a Sports Card Radio actually I think makes more. So
I don't know. Let's look.
like unless they show you, I don't believe it. 1.5. Okay. Well, I'm doing pretty good then because I ain't posting a whole lot. So but higher value niche stocks are higher value, much higher value from an ad perspective. So but man, maybe I should start going live. I'd make 10x it. But I don't believe him. I don't believe that he has 4 million in sales. It certainly wouldn't be a round number. I'd be much more impressed if he had 3,786,086 in sales. Like if he did that, then I'd believe him. But when you put up like, oh, I did 4 million in 4 months. Stop it. Stop it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I think it's still light. I know it sounds like a lot, but again, I can name off 5 group breakers that do way more than $1 million a month. And they have way less than 14,000 square feet and however many employees Jeff has. So he's having to scale a couple different businesses here. He has his in-store experience where he's trying to bring in locals to spend some money, but he's also trying to scale this online thing that apparently, I think that was the most honest he was in this video from about 30 minutes on when he talks about breaking and how hard it is to make a nickel breaking.
Well, I think we underestimate the likability of the breaker.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we look at some of these breakers and we're like, oh, the Filthbomb guy or platinum breaks or whatever. But some of these guys do, they do have a price point and then they do have a fan base that likes their style, that likes, similar to Sports Card Radio. People are probably like, how the fuck do people just watch them? And so, you get a style and you draw people in and I think it's going to be tough for Jeff to find that. I think it's going to be tough. His brand, I don't think is nearly, certainly the in-store stuff doesn't surprise me. If you were living near his store, you would go in. If he opened his store in Stockton, California, I probably would have poked my head in. Okay. So it doesn't surprise me that people in the area poke their heads in and spend a little bit of money. But online is a different thing. You already have the big time breakers out there. You already have the breakers that have an audience and have figured out a recipe and a formula that works. So for him to think he's going to break into that, having no experience ever doing that, I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be more than difficult. And I think the fact that he is trying to scale up online, like he had this fascination that they were going to roll around these carts that he spent like, what did he say? He spent like 10 grand on these carts with cameras and lights.
He has 7 of them, I think.
He has 7 of them. And why? Why? When you can go on eBay and buy and click and buy a cart. You know what I mean? Like, why? So I think he had this wild fascination that all this business was going to be there. And then I think too, you start looking at the macro economy and stuff like that, and unemployment's starting to tick up. Eventually people are like, oh, they'll lower interest rates. Yeah, they're going to lower interest rates. And that's when everything's going to be shit. Everybody's house is worth 3 times what they paid for it. That's not always going to be the case. So I don't necessarily think we're heading into a period of time where selling discretionary baseball cards and Pokemon cards is going to be that great. So if all he's relying on is the great citizens of Atlanta, Georgia to walk through the door, that's not always going to be there either. Ask Home Depot, which I think was originated there. Ask any retailer out there. Starbucks is struggling right now. McDonald's is struggling getting customers in. Like, it's going to happen with trading cards as well. So, and then there's always going to be that, ability to buy this stuff online and have it show up the next day or have a breaker that you actually like. I don't see 2 guys there on the screen that have an ounce of likability.
Well, that's just a
fact.
we saw a mama break that went 15 hours. So I doubt Jeff is going to be sitting there for 15 hours selling this stuff.
He better be making more than $1 million a month if he is.
Oh, exactly. I mean, that it seems like a lot of money, but it's really not.
It's not. No.
In the sports card world. It was, 10 years ago when these products were $10 and a case was $1,100. That case today is, $10,000 or more. So we'll see. He's going to have to ramp up this business, especially online. And he talked about how hard that was. And
I don't think he has the right. I don't think he also has the right people in. Like these guys, you can put them on a Southwest flight and take them to a card show and have them look up a comp and pay 80 off. Guys, any dumb fuck in the world can do that. You can put anybody on a Southwest flight, give them a suitcase and say, go look up on your phone what the last comp was and offer the person 20 off. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. But can you scale up an online business? Can you scale up a breaking business? Probably not. We said it from day one. Neither of the guys that he has in charge of this, they're yes men. And why wouldn't you say yes? Jeff's like, hey, let's spend $3 million on a card shop in the middle of nowhere. And then it's going to be the world's card shop, and we're going to sell shit from the aisles, and we're going to have Breakers Cabana, and there's going to be shit. There's going to be a poker table in a stadium. And they were just like, yeah. A real fucking alpha male would have said, Jeff, no, let's not open up with 14,000 square feet. Let's open up with 600 square feet in the front and then 10,000 square feet in the back. I didn't go to Burbank Cards, but I saw your video. That's looked like his setup where he's got some square footage in the front and then he's got all this warehouse in the back. That's what an alpha male would have told Jeff. Fuck the Breaker Cabanas. Fuck these stupid carts with cameras and lights and all this stupid shit and try to sell the same card you're selling in the aisle to the person in Alabama. Like, you're a fucking idiot. And then, we're somehow magically always going to find a card show to get on a Southwest flight and fly to and have to pay hotels and meals and go and find enough people that are going to sell us their cards for 20 off and then bring those back to the shop and profitably sell those at 100 and 110 of the last comp. Insane. And a real man would have told Jeff this, but Jeff, like a lot of people, doesn't want to surround themselves with somebody that does that. Because, now you're negative. Anybody that, remember when Cards HQ opened up, Ryan, and we were saying all this shit. We said, this is not the first time we've said this shit. We said all this shit before he even opened. Everybody was, you're being negative. You're jealous. You're this, you're that. No, we would be straight with Jeff. We would be like one of the few people in the world. Jeff should hire us as a consultant and actually pay us money to tell him this shit because nobody around him is telling him. Like, dude, you are in a car and you are about to run this off the cliff. You are going to run this off the cliff. If you're already struggling 4 months in, it is going to be 10 times worse this time next year. And we're going to see major pivots coming from the Jeff Wilson organization here pretty soon. Rejiggering of the space, selling off of the Nikon cameras or whatever he spent $70,000 on. Thankfully, he spent maybe some of the money on some assets that he, like camera equipment. This stuff can be sold. But these flights around the country, buying cards for 20 off, that's your business model? And that the people of Atlanta are going to come in and pay 100 and 110%? That might last 4 months. But it's not going to, it's simply not going to last. It's not going to last forever. And this guy's going to run into massive problems. And he's already seen it when he's trying to roll into group breaking, trying to roll into selling online. I mean, he can't sell online. Bro, it's called fucking eBay. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why fucking check out my cards and Golden in the same year sold parts of their business to eBay.
How do
Because
we
he
have
just
more?
can't-
How do we have more shit listed than Jeff has on his website?
Exactly.
I don't
I have
understand that.
I have exactly 1,000. I have like 1,002 items, and I haven't listed anything in like 2 weeks. Like I've been super slacking on the listing because I've been busy with other stuff, and I've got stacks of cards over here. I probably could have another 1,500, 1,600 if I had employees. That'd be the one thing I would hire, is somebody to list my shit, because that's the one thing that I just can fall very easy to fall behind on. But if I had as many employees and little pencil dicks as this guy does around him, oh my God, I'd have 10,000 listings already on eBay. But I'm literally doing this. I mean, I played 18 holes of golf today, and I've got almost as many listings as Jeff. So this is a problem. This is a big, big problem. And he needs to start surrounding himself with people that is going to tell him this is a big problem.
Yeah, million's not going to cut it. Million a month is not going to cut it.
No way. We've
We
already.
know
What was
his
his
mar-
rent? Well, his rent was like 30K.
or more.
It was more.
I mean, he says he was profitable. He might have been profitable by like 1 or 2%. What's 1 or 2% of 4 million? It's going to take. He spent $4 million opening.
It might be profitable without him taking a paycheck either. You know what I mean? Like
This
he
guy
could be
says he's
paying all
getting a
his
paycheck.
employees. I'm sure he's
This
getting a
guy says he's
paycheck.
getting a-
I'm sure everybody's getting a paycheck, but Jeff Whittleson.
Jeff maybe doesn't.
So yeah, you might be profitable, but you didn't put a single dollar into your bank account. And how much right now could you put? He could have put 4 million in Nvidia stock in January 1st. Fuck last year and the year before and 5 years ago. You could have bought Nvidia stock on January 1st, Ryan. That's the year chart. Go to YTD, year to date. Year to date, Nvidia is up 162%. Guys, you don't need a calculator. If you had put $4 million into Nvidia, not last year, not 2 years ago, I mean, you'd be like damn near, like you'd be super rich.
Dude, you could have done it 6 months ago.
You could have done 6 months ago, which is basically year to date.
Sure.
But you could have bought Nvidia stock well after everybody knew Nvidia stock was the shit to own. And you'd be up huge. Okay, so that's Nvidia stock. You could have put $4 million in a CD and earned 5% on your money. And so that to me that's, you know, if you put 4 million in a card shop and you made 6% on 4 million, you really only made like 1 or 2%, because your opportunity cost of putting it into the bank and earning 4%
Well, you
doing
spent
nothing.
4 million opening the card shop. If you just buy stock, you get the fucking stock.
Right, exactly. And they've paid a dividend. Nvidia's paid a dividend over that period of time. So you've actually could have drawn some cash out, let alone selling the fucking shares for, you know, almost 2.5 times what you paid for them. Yes,
So
Nvidia artificial
you're
intelligence. Jeff, no intelligence. Exactly.
so you,
Well
you're
said.
saying that the sports card investor made, you know, certainly a big gamble here, and a huge investment, not only in terms of money but time.
Has he ever made a good sports card investment? He calls himself the sports card investor, but has he ever made a good sports card investment?
I think he would argue certain cards, and maybe there are certain ones. I think there was somebody who did a spreadsheet though of the cards that he's flexed on Instagram, their approximate value of when he purchased them or where he purchased them from, and then what he's up or down. I think it was like he was down quite a bit. I mean, that's obvious. Just look at the year-to-date chart on sports cards. Look at the 1 year chart for all these indexes. These things can't be that far off. So he couldn't make any money sports card investing. I mean, nobody does that. His content probably makes a little bit of money, but I think he has 22 employees. So you really got to get the sponsorship cranked out when you have that many employees. So he pivoted and he opened a card shop. He's having problems getting allocation. Panini, he's not a part of the Panini Good Old Boy Network, so he doesn't get any Panini product. And Fanatics will deal with him. But currently, Fanatics only has the one license.
Until they cut him off. And we talked about that on last show. They're going to get the blueprint they're going to let guys like Jeff spend their money into oblivion. And then eventually Fanatics is just going to open up their own card shops.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, maybe you can buy into the franchise, but you're going to pay 8% off the top in a royalty. And you'll
see how much. They're not going to let these guys make all this money on group rigs. They're going to just keep charging more and keep charging more, keep charging more. They're not going to let group breakers get rich anymore. Those days are probably over.
Way over.
And I think for about 30 minutes in, or whenever Jeff started talking about breaking, I think that was the most honest he was in the whole video. That, hey, this is fucking hard. It's hard. You see all this money coming into these breakers. That don't mean they're making shit.
No. I've seen these guys in person.
I've seen it. Well, yeah, that too. And I've heard Backyard Breaks talk about it. How, we could sell 100,000 in a stream, but you know how they give away all this shit? Oh, well, they gave away fucking $105,000 over the shit. Or their total costs were like 110 and they lose 10K in a 15-hour night.
I think that there's a fascination with a lot of these guys. Backyard Breaks, you could throw it in there too, with like having employees and having polo shirts and having this, that, and the other. And it's like, at the end of the day, I just want money. You know what I mean? I don't want employees. I don't want a brick and mortar shop. I don't want to have to go live every day on Whatnot or
you don't want to partner with this guy. You don't want this guy be your business partner.
No, I just want to buy stuff and resell it and make some money. I want to have some websites that, if I want to spend a week or two on, like I have this last week, build them up and then not have to work on them for 2 years, 3 years. I just want money. And maybe I'm not doing 4 million in 4 months, but at the end of the day, my bills are paid. The Cybertruck is incoming and the Rolex is coming probably next week. So, at the end of the day, I'm happy. But some of these guys, I think, want employees and want to like be busy and shit. And it's like, man, I just want to sit around. That too.
It's clout.
I mean, I just want to play golf. Played 18 holes today. Paid 9 holes on Sunday. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do.
I think some of it was clout that he needed to actually pivot to something because he wasn't the sports card investor anymore. That gig is that's kind of played out. You can't come on here and start talking about investing in Luka Doncic cards.
No, you can't.
So he had to hard pivot. I think he always saw himself as somebody in the Good Old Boy Network or wanted to be in the Good Old Boy Network. And so one of the ways to try to get into that network is to open a sports card store. So he's 4 months in. If you take him at face value, he's going to have to double or triple these numbers because there are breakers who are doing $1 million a month, who nobody's ever heard of, and who have half as many employees and work out of 1,400 square feet, not 14,000. So these have got to go way, 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 way up. So he's got to scale his online business a lot because it's nice that he has in-store success. And I think around the holidays, his store would do really well with people coming in and looking for gifts. He should crush it around November, December, like crush it. Like if he doesn't, he should be scared. If Jeff Wilson doesn't fucking crush November and December, he should be terrified and hard pivot like as soon as possible. Because around the holidays, this boy should crush. But trying to scale an online breaking business, trying to sell cards online. He has 1,900. He has 19. How many? He has 265 boxes or packs or so.
That's not enough.
It's not enough. And he talked about, I mean, he's got to travel to card shows to get cards. He's got to buy from third parties and distributors to get enough boxes. If you use that 1,400 square feet and did $1 million, I'd be like, hey, that's pretty good. You could grow. You could, But I think as a flex, he's kind of started big, and he could be playing catch up for quite a while. Even if he made go ahead.
Someone in the chat's bringing up, like GameStop has been sending me emails and stuff. So like you're going to have like, these are the types of, this is going to be your competition in a couple years. It's going to be Fanatics on its own. They're going to go public. They're going to try to juice their numbers any way they possibly can. So they're going to be sucking out as much margin as they possibly can in preparations for an IPO. Then they're going to go IPO. And my guess is some of that money is going to come back to Fanatics. Sometimes when you IPO, the money goes to Michael Rubin, it goes to the other early investors, and the company retains nothing. But I think Fanatics will go IPO and actually, boom, $1 billion sitting on their cash balance sheet. And they're going to go take that $1 billion, and then they're going to go eliminate all the people that are sucking out margin in their business. They don't have any more licenses to buy. They're going to go out and buy. They're going to go buy boxes like GameStop, and GameStop has boxes all over the country, storefronts all over the country. And GameStop is just the first one to kind of get into this. There's going to be other retail outlets. They're going to see what they do, and they're going to try it too. And if you're Fanatics, Ryan, wouldn't you love to have GameStop as an account? You push they push one button, and boom, how many cases can GameStop buy with one push of a button? They got Roaring Kitty getting $2 billion in their balance sheet. Boom.
They could convert lid stores. There could be all number of things that could happen to retail. They could really, Fanatics could just push you online, and then, hey, you get a cheaper price if you buy it from us online or buy it from our breakers. I think at some point Fanatics, and we could talk about they're screw up. They're going to have their own breakers. They're going to do this themselves so that they gobble up all the margin. They see this addiction thing going on. They see these people going crazy and spending their wedding budget on it. They don't want that to go to Jeff Wilson.
No.
Or Timbuktu Breaker in fucking
on Whatnot,
Kentucky, on Whatnot. No, Fanatics has some moves they need to make in the business world too. They're losing to Whatnot. And so they're probably waiting until they gobble up all the licenses when they have the NBA and the NFL and the MLB. Then they're going to really dictate where you guys can buy and sell these cards and from whom. You can still, through your distributor, if you still got the Good Old Boy Network through Panini, still access their product and buy this shit. Wait till that door closes. And it all gets ran through Michael Rubin. So get your ass-kissing shoes on in Cleveland. And if you see Michael Rubin and you need some allocation, you better go offer him a fucking blowjob. Because that's what you're going to need to do. But that's Jeff Wilson for you. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if his name, we're going to be talking about the biggest idiots in sports cards. We'll see if Jeff Wilson's name comes up at all. We'll see if we see Jeff again at one of these card shows. So this is probably one of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken in the history of the sports card world.
Wow.
That's definitely top 5. We're going to keep the minions waiting for us to talk about Jab's family on ice. Because, or maybe his name will come up in this discussion. But I want to talk about who are the biggest idiots in the sports card world. I posed this question to the chat. I posed this question to you. I was not the originator of this topic. I saw this, I believe it was yesterday, from a guy that goes by G33B on Twitter. He posted top 4 biggest idiots in sports cards, Midwest Box Break Ben, Cheap Fun Breaks Daryl, Geo Wiz Don, Bamba Breaks Dan. So he certainly is not a huge fan of these idiot sports card group breakers. Do you want me to name? I honestly, this is gonna shock some people. I only could come up with 2 fucking names because maybe my definition of idiot is a little. That's a stronger word than a lot of people use. People say a lot of idiotic things. We say some idiotic things, but to just be a fucking idiot. That if this guy called in, I would look at him and be like, "You're a fucking idiot." Is there anybody who in the sports card world do you think is a big fucking idiot?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if people are not bothering me these days as much as maybe they did in the past. I don't know if I haven't been paying attention or
Is the great creator. What about the great creator?
Great creator. I don't know. Like, is he even relevant? You know?
Yeah.
You know, like he's posting videos and they get a couple hundred views. Is this even like, are you relevant? You know what I mean? Like, are we punching? Like, I don't want to punch down and call great creator like an idiot. He can talk crap on us because it's like it's punching up and it's, oh, those sports car radio guys are idiots, and it might be good content.
I'm gonna leave a comment. So
okay, there you go.
So it
helps them out. Yeah, they need the help because it's like the content is clearly not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not popping, it's not resonating. So to me, it's like he's not even relevant. So he's not an idiot because he's not even.
What about Jeff Wilson?
Relevant.
Is Jeff Wilson an idiot?
Chat said G from Platinum.
Well, I mean, yeah,
that's a good one.
The Platinum guy. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good one. Platinum is clearly, but is he super relevant? I don't know how much they're breaking. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, he was one of these people. Oh my God, Platinum breaks is so big. It's like,
right now.
Are they?
There he
are
is.
they that?
There he is.
There he is. Our boy G.
Our boy's looking a little rough.
He definitely looks like he's got that like red blush I've been drinking for 20 years.
Why can't I chat? Why can't I fucking chat?
Only subscribers.
Oh my God.
You gotta subscribe.
Fucking pussies.
It looks like he's got a lot not sold, and Adam Kelly is like keeping them in business over there.
You only need 1 or 2 customers. People think it's like all these people. No, you literally need like 1 or 2 degenerate addicts to support you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really see a lot, and people really don't. I don't really get overly offended.
Damn, our boy G ain't skipping a meal. Our boy G ain't skipping a meal, man. Things must be good, boy. He ain't skipped. Our boys ain't skipped a meal in fucking 8 months.
He ain't skip a drink either. Look how red he is.
What drugs is he on? Yeah, dude, what is he on?
No, he's drinking.
Our boy's
he's drinking a lot.
Our boy's not looking very healthy. Yeah,
he drinks. He drinks.
Our boy needs an intervention here, a health intervention, I think.
Because I bet we're close to the same age. I bet he might even be younger than we are.
He's probably younger than us.
That's what's crazy. Yeah,
dead ass. He's younger than us. Yeah,
he'll probably make it to like 105 though. So I don't know. People aren't really making me upset these days because there's not many people like that I view as like, oh, they're, they have, I don't know how I would say this, but they have more quote influence in the hobby, or they're bigger or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that many people out there that if we didn't, want to put, wanted to put out a couple of videos about, that they wouldn't be tripping about. So, or sending over a lawsuit, or sending over like, hey, calm down a little bit kind of thing. So I don't see a lot of people in this hobby that I'm even like, that I even really care about to think enough about them to call them an idiot.
Hey, you only need 1 customer. Can be. There you go.
There he is.
You really just need like 1 or 2 customers.
That's
like
it.
That's literally all you need. Okay, so Platinum G might be an idiot, but we might need to get him an Ozempic or something, because Jeff Wilson, maybe kind of a useful idiot to the sports card world, or to the hype world, or to the hobby positivity world. The great creator wasn't big enough. I did think of a name, 2 names. and again, probably not the names that people think we're going to say. I think one of the biggest idiots in the sports card world is Beckett CEO Kevin Isaacson. And I mean, one of the reasons why we didn't cover that whole Michael Jordan PMG thing, because it was in a Beckett holder. You guys have got to start thinking about cards in Beckett holders like they're in HGA slabs. Because here's another guy who I would classify as an idiot, especially if you listen to his interviews or just listen to him talk. I mean, just comes across as a fucking idiot. If you listen to how some former employees talk about him, fucking idiot. Kevin Isaacson, again, we promoted his industry summit that he was running
for free
to record attendance before Jeff Wilson told you guys to invest in sports cards, before anybody knew what the fucking industry summit was, before the Mint was around. There was the sports card industry summit. Because of our post on social media, the event exploded. Literally because of our post on social media, the event exploded. He got a $15,000 sponsorship from Cardboard Connection the following year. But then he decided to ban not only me from attending the event, the person who helped him get that $15,000 sponsorship. He banned Sports Card Radio from attending, and he banned Brian Gray and Leaf Trading Cards from attending. And a lot of people liked going and seeing Brian Gray and seeing the promos that Leaf gave out. Leaf a lot of times would bring an athlete who would come and sign autographs. And ever since that decision by the idiot who runs Beckett, Kevin Isaacson, that event has never been the fucking same. And in fact, competing events like the Mint took over the consciousness of the hobby positivity crowd. People don't even know what the fucking Beckett Industry Summit is, or when it is, or if it even still exists. I think the Topps Industry Conference just happened. I think somebody said there were like 700 dealers there. Could you imagine how much money you could make if you could get 700 motherfuckers to show up? And one website was paying you $15,000? He was too worried about keeping Panini as a sponsor. And then Panini ran on financial hard times and stopped making the black boxes. And this event ceased to exist, I think, for a couple of years. So to me, Kevin Isaacson is one of the biggest idiots in this industry. It's why we don't talk about Beckett. It's why we don't talk about BGS slabs. It's why we don't give them respect. This hobby, and it's hard for me to even admit this, if you see a BGS slab, you have to treat it like it's an HGA slab. Period. Because that's the type of person that's running this company. A complete fucking idiot. Let alone if you want to start getting up higher in the food chain and who actually owns it. But Beckett is a complete joke. And in part, that is because Kevin Isaacson has had his fingerprints on the business. And he has ruined a business. He ruined the industry summit. That thing used to date back to Hawaii. This might be before Jeff Wilson was even born, let alone Roth cards. This was an event that had spanned many, many decades, and now people don't even know what it is. This event should rival the National. And it did for a few years. It was either you had to go to the National and you had to go to the Industry Summit. And I know a lot of people watching don't remember that. Can't even imagine that you went to the Industry Summit in March or April, and then you went to the National. And those were the two events you went to. And Isaacson squandered that. To me, he's one of the biggest idiots in this industry. If he called in, probably wouldn't even let him on the show, but just for clicks and laughs and fucking whatever views, I'd bring him on and I'd look him right in the face and be like, you're a fucking idiot. This guy's been CEO of Beckett for how long? And has he done one interview? Does anybody even know that he's the CEO of Beckett? So stop talking about Beckett like it's going to be a comeback story. It's HGA. That's its equivalent right now. It's literally like a 5th tier grading company. PSA's above them. SGC's above them. CSG's above them. You could argue maybe fucking Tag. Arena Club might grade as many cards as Beckett. He's a complete clown. He's a fucking joke. There's a reason why Beckett is where it is, and there's a reason why the industry summit doesn't even fucking exist anymore. It should be as big as the national. Not in terms of people attending it, but it should have 700 to 1,000 dealers that go to it, that all pay Kevin Isaacson $200 to $500 each, let alone the spot. He kicked Brian Gray out of the event. Brian Gray would probably pay $10,000 to do a speech at the damn thing and to set up in the little corporate pavilion. This guy ruined that event. He pulled me into a room at the National, and he was so mad at the tweets I was putting on Twitter that was promoting his fucking event and was putting money in his pocket. And I said, Kevin, I'm going to go home and watch baseball. I don't care about sports cards. And you know what Kevin said to me? He says, I don't care about any of this either. So that's who's running Beckett. And if you wonder why Beckett is where it is, because it has somebody at the helm who doesn't give a fuck, who cares less about sports cards than Sports Card Radio does. So hopefully I've trashed Beckett enough in the last 5 minutes, because not enough people in this hobby are doing it. Boy, what was that? The Hobby Palooza? The only thing worth watching was Mike Petty and Collector's Dream, drinking a beer every fucking 2 minutes. At least it kept me awake. Oh my God, you go to the National and collect what you want and wear comfortable shoes. God, I can't wait. So we're not talking about Beckett slabs on here, and we're not talking about fucking Beckett anymore. They're fucking HGA to me. So that's who my idiot in the hobby is. I know that's probably disappointing. People, they wanted to hear us talk about Jeff or fucking one of these other stupid fucks. No, this guy has literally squandered business and kicked us out of an event where we had helped set records attendance at. He wouldn't have got a $15,000 sponsorship from Mike Smith and Cardboard Connection if Cardboard Connection wasn't trying to one-up us. Cardboard Connection bought the media partnership because they were trying to one-up Sports Card Radio. So I put $15,000 in Kevin Isaacson's pocket. That was just for the media partnership, let alone the 12 people in polo shirts that were at $300 each. Put $20,000 in this idiot's pocket, and he was like, no, you can't come. Told Brian Gray that he couldn't come.
To this day, we're still banned. Like it's been communicated to other people at the company, or at some point he kind of looks at who's coming, and we have been refunded our money as late as maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Guy's a fucking idiot. Like, he is the definition of fucking idiot. Tyler Hitt's just stupid. And this guy's just like country bumpkin, like, send in my cards and get this fucking pretty label I'll put on it. This guy was just an opportunist and an idiot. And anybody that sent them cards were fucking idiots as well. So those are my idiots. Kevin Isaacson, Tyler Hitt, the former CEO of HGA, and anybody who sent cards to HGA. And I think anybody who sends cards to Beckett are fucking idiots. Might as well send your shit to HGA.
You might as well pay $3 more and just send it to PSA. You know what I mean? And it's, the upcharge. Oh, whatever. Oh, the fucking upcharge is probably worth it.
Upcharges make it worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're getting an upcharge, it's probably a good thing. That's actually probably a phone call you want to take, is when they're trying to upcharge you and like, oh shit, I just got a fucking 10. So those are that.
Don Diego's what grade would you give Miss?
Wow. Okay, we're raining Don Diego here. All right, let's go to the Instagram. I think what we need to do is, we don't want to take 30 seconds and looking at her like a PSA grader would, right? We actually do want to examine multiple images, multiple angles. We want to see, like, what does she look like in the wild? What is she, how her corners, her edges, her skin tone, everything, right? So if we're ranking Don Diego 1 to 10, I think you hit the nail on the head maybe we were talking about this before the show. She's
Yeah,
like
hold on.
Caitlin Clark's.
Yeah, okay,
She's
that's
like-
that's safe.
This is safe. She's like Caitlin. We're not going to talk about Mike Rubin's daughter. She's she's like Caitlin Clark's hotter cousin or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think realistically, this might come across as low. I think realistically, this is a 7, and a 7 to me is hot, like hot. I think she's maybe 7 to 7.5, which is a very strong score. Don't think about that like a
Subgrade.
card.
How about the
This is a
subgrade?
very strong score.
Subgrades. We'll go body. We'll go.
Oh my God.
Eye appeal, and we don't know personality. I've never seen her talk. so we
Personality
can't-
could crank this up. Personality could crank this up to a solid 8.
Sure.
Again, we never hung out with her, so the personality wise could crank this up. I don't think it could deteriorate it, because at the end of the day, it's like, how annoying could she be, right?
Right.
So I think I think she's a solid 7. So hopefully that didn't make anybody mad. Hopefully, here she is at Fanatics. Definitely a 7.5 in that picture. So we're loving the hair. Everything's amazing. So I'm loving it. She's definitely not an idiot. So there's our boy Nat Turner. Got a little boy. I never seen him smile that big before.
Hey, he's happy about that.
He get that PMG green back, and he ain't even smiling that big. He get that Kurt's card care juice rubbed on his cards, and he ain't even smiling that big.
Right.
Hey, he looking happy. Where's that hand too? Where's this other hand? Where is it? It's not like, where's this other hand? Is it where's it at? It's not up here on the shoulder. It's down here somewhere.
That's
our-
not an appropriate area, I'm sure.
Yep. So I don't know what our Nat hasn't called in, so we haven't been able to ask him about
No.
his relationship status. So maybe if he
true.
does that at one point, we can ask him about his relationship status and his time with Miss Don. Now, hey, is it worth going to Cleveland if you might run into Miss Don Diego at the National? You see these two little boys over here. They're like, oh man, I got to get my Pelican case out and fucking go see what Jeff has.
Jeff's gonna
So
give me
you.
Jeff's gonna give me 20% off the last comp. Get my Pelican case over there fast as
So
I
this-
can.
This isn't making you want to go to Cleveland.
No, because you
done.
can walk down the street at NYC and this is every third girl you pass. So I ain't tripping.
Oh, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Or let alone I haven't looked at hotels yet for Burbank, California, but needless to say, we're not going to be staying in Burbank. So we're gonna be a little closer to the water.
We're selling like a Michael Jordan that we should net a few thousand from. So that ends next week. Don't buy that
wait.
hotel until that
Oh.
Michael Jordan sells. So
Which Michael Jordan? The one in the BGS lab?
exactly, it's in a BGS slab. Exactly, it's in a BGS slab. So I don't fucking want it. If it was in a PSA slab, I'd probably keep it.
You keep it.
But it's in a
well,
Beckett
that's good.
slab. So I'm
All
like, fuck it, I don't want it.
All right, I'll wait till that payment clears and then buy the hotels.
So we're going to talk about Mr. Jab's family, but before I do, if you want to save some money on some fucking sports cards, head on over to cbhobby.com. Promo code Will Greer. Again, the guy who spent $12,000 of his wedding budget and only has $600 in his account. If he bought those cards from CB Hobby and used the promo code Will Greer, he would actually have double the amount in his bank account right now
He
and
would.
the same amount of cards.
He would have saved
this
his
is-
marriage.
Exactly. He would have had more money in his bank account, would have had the same amount of cards, and saved his fucking marriage. So that's how important the promo code is. That's how important cbhobby.com is. Reggie Jackson's watch is at $14,000. This ends in 16 days. Bob Ross original painting. Come on. You want a picture of a man or you want fucking a Bob Ross painting?
That'd be a great conversation piece there.
You know, there are motherfuckers who spent more on Justin Fields cards than that
No.
painting,
No,
right? You think
No,
that's
no, no,
happened? What's the most?
no,
What-
no.
Here is the highest price Justin Fields card was $90,000. 90. Here is a Bob Ross painting That is at 43,000. So you could get the
Oh.
Bob Ross painting and still have 45 racks left over, or you could have the one of one BGS. Oh, it's in a BGS slab too, Colin.
8.5.
Does that get you?
8.5.
Does that tickle you? Oh, it's 8.5. Hey, we could rub some Kurtz juice on it and turn that into a
Sure.
9.2, guys.
Bump it up to a 9. Bump it up to a 9.
God, I'd like to. Never mind. So you could have a Bob Ross painting and 40 racks left over. Or you could have this Justin Fields card that I'm going to take the under on. Card Ladder says it's worth 37,000. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under. We're going to be talking a lot about this. Hey, let's hope the gravy train at Sports Card Radio continues, because once this girl gets to the WNBA, we're going to be having a lot of discussion about her. $1,300 ends tomorrow.
Wow.
She gonna be big time. She already is big time, but she gonna be bigger time. Hey, maybe this is a reason to go to the national. This came out of the silver pack. It says marketing. I don't know. Is that like an employee got this? Like, why is it so much? $6,000 fucking dollars? It's not serial numbered. Is it like the only one? I don't know. I'm confused, but $6,200, 40 bids. Bronny James, this ends in 14 days. I don't believe he got picked yet. Oh boy, who do we take? Oh, we dropped it a white guy.
White guy.
Oh
Damn
my,
it.
senior too. Oh wow, he's old.
6'2" white guy. Ah,
From North Dakota. Wow, we really went like Austin Reeves on this. So that's an interesting thing. We'll see. It doesn't look like Bronny James has been selected. Phoenix at 22. There were rumors there, but
no wonder he came into this draft. This is pretty rough.
looks like
Somebody will emerge though. Somebody. This is one of those drafts though where something extraordinary will happen. One of these guys, could be a white dude, could be a dude you never heard of or whatever, will have a decent
Jacoby?
year. There we go. Jacoby.
We're rooting for Jacoby over here.
I like Jacoby.
We got to get some cards of him. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And like you said, maybe it'll be somebody who exceeds the hype, exceeds the expectation, and that's where you're going to see the explosive price movement.
Yep.
If the hype is already baked in, the rings are baked in, you guys book 6 championships on Luka's ass, it's going to be hard for his cards to go up. Whereas this NBA draft, yeah, I wouldn't buy the wax necessarily unless it comes down or it's on clearance. But you could certainly pick a guy and nibble on his cards probably throughout the year, because they should be affordable. Because I'm not seeing a whole lot of names in here. And if you went outside and asked 100 people on the street who's in this 2024 NBA draft, maybe the only name they could say is LeBron James' son, who has not been picked yet. So we shall see. I'm excited. We got some other hobby heroes to talk about. We do have an update about the Filthbomb situation. You remember that Filthbomb, one of the biggest breakers on Fanatics Live, apparently had a customer who spent $20,000 on breaks in a week, on Bowman breaks. The customer wanted those items shipped to another breaker. Filthbomb had beef with the breaker these cards were going to be sent to. So Filthbomb offered to white glove surface these cards and sell them for the customer. Well, the customer was under the impression that Filthbomb was going to communicate a little better his white glove service. Filthbomb just started selling these guys cards who spent $20,000 in a week. Filthbomb just started selling this shit on eBay. The customer was upset. He wanted to keep some of the cards. He's a collector. He and Filthbomb went back and forth. Filthbomb admitted his mistake, but Filthbomb did not want to provide a refund. He just wanted to go out and buy the cards that he had already sold and buy them from some rando on eBay. And now there's probably Kurtz juice dripping all over those fucking cards. So the customer wanted a refund. He asked Filthbomb for a refund. They declined. The customer went to the CEO, I think, of Fanatics Live, had a discussion with him, got ghosted for like a week. But now I don't have confirmation, but I have heard some rumblings that Fanatics is providing a refund, and I believe it's Fanatics and not Filthbomb. Is providing a refund. It should hit the account in maybe a week, but it looks like it looks like Fanatics Live is taking a $20,000 hit for one of their golden child breakers, Filthbomb. So do you have any comments about Fanatics Live apparently finally ponying up the refund in this now month-old situation?
I'm glad the guy got his money back. That's ultimately, I mean, you can buy something from Costco and return it, a year later with no receipt and it be broken and they'll give you your money back. That's what these companies should do. You know what I mean? This is how you should be taken care of when you buy one of these watches. And if it don't work, you take it back and they're going to take care of you. Or if it breaks or whatever, they're going to take care of you. So, and some people are like, whoa, this dude spent $20,000. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot of money. This is not $20,000 on a Tesla. This is, where it's like, okay, it's a car, whatever. It goes, $20,000 on pictures of men. This is a pure discretionary, just like a Rolex, just like, in a week. Like, this is as discretionary as it gets. So you should get fucking white glove service. You should
no. Wait, no, the little hobby palooza crowd. This is a kid's hobby, and this is all just for fun. And those guys ain't never spent 20 racks on cards in a week, obviously. You should get white gloved if you should actually get white gloved if you spend 20,000 in a week.
Fucking Don Diego should come over for $20,000. My God. So, Ryan, how much if you offered Don Diego, if you slid into her DMs and you were like, for real, I'm going to cash app you right now, $20K, bring over however many boxes you want. But you need to pay for your flight. You're going to be staying in my house. And I'm speaking for you at the current time. You're going to slide into Don Diego's DMs, say, I got $20K cash out. You can buy whatever car, how many cards you want, but you're going to fly to California. You're going to stay with me 24 hours, well, let alone a fucking week. If she wants to stay a week, that's fine. Like, to me, like, would she say no? You know what I mean? Like, if you offered her $20K cash out, she brings over some cards, some boxes.
Right. Platonic. A little platonic $20,000 date.
Yeah. Shit ain't going to go down. Sure. I'm just saying, because shit didn't go down with this guy in Filthbomb. You know what I mean? Would you rather, and this girl will come to you, fuck this on the internet shit. She'll come to you, break these cards. It's platonic, but maybe she could wear like, something nice.
That's how you know it's an addiction. Is people would rather break the cards because it's like a drug. Like, you could offer the set, hey, Don Diego come over for X amount of money, or you could have the same amount of money in crack. Well, the crackheads are going to pick the crack. Crackheads are always going to pick crack. Whereas we look at things differently, in part because we were around 10 years ago when blaster boxes were $10. But we're just not addicted to this wax. I think there's a lot of people, if they had $20,000 and they had a choice between a week-long date with Don Diego or product, they would choose the product. Right? That's the hobby, right? That's the hobby.
You think if Jeff Wilson got...
we've seen it right here.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Every single one of these guys would take the 20,000 in product. And this guy's spent 1,000 in a month. Imagine if you 20x that for him. He's not taking Don Diego. He's taking the breaks. because he thinks, oh, I'm going to get the bounty, or I'm going to get this card, or I'm going to get this web and Yama and rub Kurt's juice on it and send it to this grading company and then crack it out and send it to this grading company and then crack it out and send it over here. This is the hobby, are these type of people that have to literally delete whatnot off their phone, or it becomes a crack addiction. I don't think that it gets talked about enough. That's why I like this. That's why I enjoyed this post on Reddit, because I don't think people talk about this. They're all pushing you to fucking Whatnot. Every single one of these dorks has a sponsorship from Whatnot. Jeff Wilson, Card Collector 2, Mojo, on and on and on and on and on. We'll talk about jabs when I'm fucking ready. Fucking cocksuckers.
I'm about ready. I'm about ready. Let's talk about jobs. Call it a day.
Jabs family.
What happened with jobs?
We're in his Patreon. He had a break the other night. Let's see if I can pull it up. Where he was opening silver packs. 100 silver packs, 2024. Okay. And now 10 people bought in. So he had 100 packs. 10 people bought in, and they were going to get 10 packs each. And so he kind of started doing it right. He would count out the packs, and then he would open the 10, and then he would do the next person. Well, around midway through, he accidentally counted out 12 packs. And so he opened 12 packs for somebody who should have only gotten 10. Well, in one of those extra packs, he pulled everybody's favorite golden boy, who leads the major league in strikeouts, Ellie De La Cruz. Apparently he's good, Colin. He's probably better than Willie Mays and Barry Bonds. I bet I could go into our comments of our video and be like, he's better than Willie Mays and Barry Bonds combined.
Probably.
Leads the league in strikeouts this year. But anyways, so apparently he's good. Apparently that's a valuable card, but it was supposed to go to somebody else in this break. And so that was just one little boo-boo that Jabs made. I think the other boo-boo that he made is this wasn't a live break. This is like 20 years ago when you would conduct a break and then post the recorded video on YouTube for people to see what they got. I don't know why we're in 2024 and we're not doing a break live, so that if this happens, you might have an eye on the chat room and they can see that you fucked up and that you counted 12 packs for the guy and he should have gotten 10. And this could have all been avoided. But he did the break, not live for some reason, put it on YouTube, and then people in the chat obviously noticed that he gave the Ellie De La Cruz to the wrong person and that somebody else should have pulled it. And God, this motherfucker Jabs family there's nobody in this industry that has as many haters and as many fucking simps and fucking dick writers than Jabs family. Because my email blew up last night with people who thought I was watching this live. Guys, breaking fucking news. On a Tuesday night, the last thing I'm doing is watching this motherfucker open silver packs of Top Series 2. I can't think of something more fucking boring in my life. And I'm trying to get excited because I watched the Hobby Palooza for 10 hours where people are just like, oh, collect what you like and fucking, oh, I don't know. I don't know about Kurt. Oh, what do you think? Oh, I think Jackson Holiday will be good someday. Oh, make sure you wear comfortable shoes to the National. And oh, I can't wait to see all my fucking friends. But believe me, on a fucking Tuesday, the last thing I'm doing, people thought I was watching this live. Fucking idiots. No, I was not watching it live. After I watched it back, I was like, he made a mistake. Okay. I questioned why he didn't do it live. That's probably my biggest question. Why the fuck is he not doing live breaks? But anyways, he said he fucked up. He made another video. Probably because he knew we were going to talk about it, where he describes how he fucked up. He is providing the person, he's sending the card to the person who should have pulled it. And then he's apparently Ellie De La Cruz is good. It's worth $900, the card. And he sent $900 to the person who accidentally he pulled the card for. So he did make it right, I think, in an appropriate way. He sent the guy that he mistakenly gave the card to the value of the card, so that guy didn't feel like, oh wait, that you pulled that for me or whatever.
That card's worth $900.
Yeah, no shit. We can have a 2-hour discussion on that. He's batting .240 and he leads the league in strikeouts. But he steals bases and he's so fucking good.
It's like a 9th year card of him.
That's a rookie card. No, that's a rookie.
This is a rookie card. Oh yeah, no. But he has like 9 Bowman cards already.
Oh, you're right. You were right. Sorry.
Come on.
So it's a $900 card. He made it right. I think the contrast here with Filthbomb, how Filthbomb didn't make it right and did everything actually in his power to not make it right. They both fucked up. Filthbomb fucked up by selling the cards and not having a clear communication on what the white glove service was. Jabs fucked up by not doing his breaks live and by counting out the wrong number of packs so that somebody hit a card that they shouldn't. They both fucked up. Jabs' family made it right. Filthbomb did not. And so now I come to you. What do you think about Jabs? What do you think about Filthbomb? What do you think about these breakers making mistakes? Should they be given grace? What are your thoughts on just breakers making mistakes and how they make up for it?
Well, let's just say Alex Giamma was opening silver packs on a Tuesday night, Ryan, live. Would you tune in on that?
Okay, now we're talking about something different. She has 113,000 followers.
Okay.
Now we're talking about something different.
So she was opening silver packs live, and people.
Boy, I'd be there an hour before, bro. I'd be an hour before into this motherfucking stream. I guarantee you that. And if this girl was there too, I'd be there 3 hours before. Okay. Like what? Like literally, people simp for fucking Jabs and fucking Jeff Wilson before they don't even know who Alex Giammo is.
That's a shame.
That's the hobby. Here she is with our boy Ken. I need to get up on her Instagram. I need to be like, yeah, I had dinner last night with Sports Card Radio. That would make my fucking week.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was surprised people. I did not see the emails. I did not. Clearly, I was not tuning in live.
Did you? You probably already saw this. The fuck you think I'm watching? Jabs' fucking family open silver packs. You fucking kidding me?
Oh man,
you must have been watching this. Oh yeah, I fucking watch. Let's see. You can actually see the videos that I've watched. Haven't watched any of those. Haven't watched any of those. There was one with his girlfriend that we watch sometimes.
somehow when there's a female involved, we watch. I don't know what that says about us. It might not.
Wow.
Might not
Breaking news. I haven't watched a Jabs family video in 2 or 3 months. So no, I wasn't watching this fucking live.
I think too, like, this content's not directed towards us. This is not content that we would watch. I can't believe people are paying $900 for an Ellie De La Cruz card, which is like his, 9th year card, basically. And there's going to be people, oh, no. It has a rookie logo on it, guys. Wasn't he in the league last year?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in the league last year?
This is who they were flipping out over last year.
Ellie De La Cruz last year.
He leads the league in strikeout.
He played in 98 games last year. This is like a 3rd-year card. Because you have a Bowman card, prospect, and then you usually get like a 2nd or 3rd Bowman card. Now he looks like still a really young guy, so I don't know if he had that many Bowman cards, because it looked like he made his ascent very quickly. So he started looks like maybe
2022.
2. So here we are, 2024. Like seriously, this is like the equivalent of a second, nearly third year card. Like this is not exciting to me. You know what I mean? Like it's just not exciting to me. And we're paying $900 for is that a sticker autograph? Yeah, it's a
Sticker
sticker
autograph.
autograph out of 25. Sticker autograph out of 25. It's
This
not
is
even
just
color match. It's like orange.
Addiction at its finest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get excited about this. And look, when you're doing these videos, the orientation certainly can get off. Counting 10 packs versus 12, certainly
happens.
forgivable. If the guy's happy with the $900, I would take $900. I would have taken $90 for this card. You know what I mean? Like I would have, and I would have been like, oh, okay. I wouldn't have gone looked up the comp, but I mean, I think everybody made out here, and it is what it is. But I mean, if this shit's $900, this hobby has a long way to go down in terms of pricing. If a third year LA Dele Cruz card is worth $900, a sticker autograph, I mean, come on. We're way. We got a long ways to go. Long ways to go. Down. Like cards, if you think cards are cheap now, just wait another year. Because this is insane. Wait till that credit card money runs out. Wait till that unemployment rate. You can go get a job right now, Ryan. Go work at McDonald's for $20 an hour. They'll gladly hire you. In a year, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't care who wins in November.
Wow.
Like this shit's, we've already seen the sign. When the fast food joints do $5 meals, that is a bad sign. That is what Subway did in early 2007 or early in 2008, I think it was. And it really caught on late in 2008. When you start doing when you see $5, in fact, I think it's one of the biggest indicators of an impending recession is when fast food does meal deals.
I'm getting some feedback on your mic.
Good.
I don't know if anybody else hears that. Here's some feedback on your mic a little bit.
Test. Well, maybe we should can this show then.
All right, let's can it.
Okay. Folks, that was it.
cbhobby.com, everybody. Go follow Alex Giamo on Instagram. Don't follow us. Follow some of these fucking women in the hobby so that they stick around. Follow cbhobby.com. Tune in next week.
We didn't do the comments. People are saying no feedback. Let's go through the comments real quick.
Oh, maybe it's just me then.
Not to cut the CB Hobby promo short. Thank you, CB Hobby. We'll get back to that. Blez is dominating at the WSOP. I hope so. Still love C Blez. I value Sports Card Radio Inc. at a modest $20 million. We'll take it. Thank you, Ancient Redwoods, for the confidence. We would gladly take that. I saw Phil Ivey won a bracelet. That was like the only big star I think I've seen win a bracelet. But you could be doing really good.
Yeah, he was killing.
Don't talk bad about jabs. That's John Winkler because the Binions are prying for you. Yeah. I think we could have gone a little harder at jabs, but maybe next time. Willie Mays is the greatest player ever, needed a side job and OG to get 200 million. Yeah. Man, when you saw what his salary was, even I think his highest salary was like not much. There are guys flipping baseball cards making more. Jobs makes more in a year than Willie's highest salary year ever. As the economy worsens, cards will go down. I agree. I'm not predicting some kind of terrible recession, but the economy has peaked in this cycle, and unemployment rate is going to continue to trend higher. And that's not good for cards. Joe Barrett, Barry Lamar bonds to the moon. I think somebody said there was some good bonds items in the golden auction. Did not look.
Well, he has a whole fucking Barry Bonds auction coming up with him and Reggie
Oh.
Jackson. So there's a
Oh,
whole
wow.
Barry Bonds shit with like his jerseys and like all kinds of shit.
Oh, Bonds finally cleared out his storage locker, huh?
Well, yeah, but it's probably like literally like a couple things. You know, it's like
Yeah.
his World Series jersey from game 3, 4, and 5. You know,
Wow.
it's 90 racks. So yeah, some of this shit's expensive. So we might have to get over here and
No. If Mr. Ken is watching, maybe you know, maybe we can
work out a deal.
Work out a deal. Or Alex, maybe Alex has got the big bucks.
She better. This girl better be rolling in the fucking
She has to
dough.
deliver it. She has to deliver it personally, though. That would be the deal. DGen Rip says, spend 6 figures on a wedding and have a coin flip shot of losing half of your stuff, or buy pieces of cardboards for $12K. Very tough decision.
It is.
Well, put that way. I think I think the guy's doing the right thing. 150K for Anthony Volpe, 1/1 crap, or Barry Lamar bonds. I agree. Volpe we got a long ways to go, guys. If Volpe is still 150K and what's his name? Ellie Della Del Taco is freaking $900. You got to be kidding me, guys.
Leads the league in strikeouts. And it's like, that career is going to go well.
This shit, we getting $6 blasters here again real soon, guys.
It's happening someday. In our lifetime, we will see $6 blasters again. For sure.
5'9". Yeah, right. This guy's like 5'6". Shit. 5'9". What's he batting? 270?
270.
150K? Batted 209 last year.
2.9 WAR. I mean,
it's
not horrible, but this isn't exciting a lot of people unless you live in New York, I guess.
I don't even know if it's exciting them. Damon says fiance got me a 6K Omega. Nice. For a wedding gift. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely a keeper. Omega's making some nice watches these days. Good value on them too. Joe Barrett with another 10. Thank you, sir. What about the 1/1 Superfractor Babe Ruth for 25K? 1/1 of a dead dude printed 70 years after he died. Dollar bin. So yeah, I guess they're remaking they're remaking these Bowman cards or whatever.
The first Bowman. Oh my god.
Or whatever.
Fucking
Man, they come out with a gimmick all the time. I swear to God, you come up with these gimmicks at Tops and you're making like 85K living in Manhattan or whatever. And it's like the value that they create for the company is incredible. Because these guys just lap this shit up.
This guy's batting 059 and you have grown men running to Target and Walmart to buy this shit.
Again, like a 3rd-year card of him. A 3rd-year card, no autograph.
He's not even in the league.
I mean, we got a long ways to go down. Card values are way too high. Way too high. This is insane. I know there's a lot more people in the hobby. This is insane, though. Ryan, there's a Card Addict show this weekend. It's Dion's 3-day show. Do we want to set up?
Oh, if you could get us a table.
Where is
this?
Get us
a table. Can we do Saturday in Fairfield at the Forever 21? It's actually really well lit. And it's in a mall, so you can kind of dip out and get some food. By Napa. Concord.
Oh, all the way up there?
It's deep.
Oh,
yeah,
Concord.
It's deep. Even for me, it's kind of deep, but
really?
Yeah, if you get us a table, Juan, hit me up. Yeah, if you get a table, fuck it. I got some cards to sell.
Let me see where Fairfield is.
It's deep for you. That's like 2.5 hours for you. Yeah, it's deep as fuck. It's like north though.
Oh shit.
You like take the 680 north or something, and you got to go like fucking a hot minute off 680 north.
Okay, hold on. Let me see where this shit is. It's hour 45 for me. Okay,
it's not bad.
All right, it's not even over the bridge. All right.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to drive back. That's the problem.
Get us one day. Yeah, see if we can do one day.
Six Flags is over there. All right.
Yeah, anyways. I wanted to, man. This fucking God, I would have crushed it if I had a table at this fucking one in San Ramon. My God, people just spending money like crazy.
This guy says Mojo's $10,000 video at the 330 mark. Mojo Mojo autograph, I think. He has like a video where I think it's the typical thumbnail. That one, yeah, 330.
Okay. Well, look, do we watch any of his videos? Oh no, I don't, guys.
Oh,
we
wait.
watched this
Oh,
one right here.
couple.
I watched that one right there. Fuck me. Were you watching the Jabs thing live?
No, I was on Instagram looking at Don Diego and Alex Giammo.
you fucking idiot.
Very
All right,
gamble.
What happens here?
I don't know.
He says at what time? 3 what?
330.
330.
Okay, we're approaching 3:30 here. It looks like they're looking at a Muhammad Ali autograph. Looks like a pamphlet signed by Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, for him 100 for it.
Does he drop it? Does he jizz on it? Does he?
He doesn't know who it is.
Oh, hands it to
I
somebody.
don't know.
Doing a little parking lot deal. So
Well, that's
I don't know.
it's got more. Got I don't know.
Got
You
more
have to,
shit.
we'll have to watch it and report back if it's
Yeah.
interesting. Rage 508 card says, well, I'm one of them, SCR. You know that, but when you were doing justice, so I had to respect it. I think he might have been a converted hater.
Converted. Yeah.
Converted hater. It's a lot of those. CB Hobby. Jeff spent 4 million. Lies. I agree. I don't believe him. One bit that he's made 4 million. He might have spent 4 million and made 4 million, but you could have spent 4 million on a lot of things in this hobby. Had a lot more fun than Jeff's had over the past 4 months. There you go. Offer her 4 million in January, and she probably still buy your side.
She's still living
Hobby.
with you.
Yeah, probably. Could have bought her a few things too. CB Hobby, $20. Sounds like Jeff's sales are made up numbers that he put on his PPP loan applications. I agree. A lot of stuff made. Whoa. It's a little smokage. Ryan, that is all you right there.
You need to hang out with this girl, yeah.
Damn.
Jesus.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
Christ.
Up our alley.
Yeah.
Invite her to Burbank.
No
This is
shit.
you. God damn. You might
She
show
can
up for
set up
free.
next to our table.
No
You might
shit.
set up for free. Might come out for free for a sack of weed. Jay Kilpatrick with the $4.99, still dumbfounded he thought live selling would revolutionize the retail experience. I mean, it's hard to say this shit with a straight face. It's less convenient than simply looking at online inventory. I couldn't agree more. I mean, this is certainly not revolutionizing online retail at this point, guys. A fucking Shopify with 1,900 cards listed. I mean, god damn.
He can't even make money doing
weekend.
breaks. Like, he's Jeff Wilson and he can't even make money doing breaks. That should tell you guys all you fucking need to know.
It's bad. This is
Good
bad.
Lord.
This is bad. This is going to end really bad. Really bad. Really bad. You have to be celibate to work at Cards HQ. Yeah. And
Damn.
probably a few other things. Major sports cards. Are you boys coming to New York City for FanFest? We're coming to New York City. How much will be at FanFest is up for debate at this point. I do have a VIP pass. I don't know what that gets me or what that allows me to do, but I'm going to have VIP passes maybe other places in New York City.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, we'll be in New York City.
Yeah, and be out.
Like on Thursday. And then we'll be at,
Yeah.
my wife just looked at me. We'll be at New York City. We'll be in New York City. And, we'll be doing stuff. We'll be doing stuff when we're there. I don't know how much we'll be at FanFest. Burbank.
We'll be in the area. We'll be in the area. So
We'll be there. Burbank is NBA. Cards HQ is WNBA. It may be. That might be true. Would you rather live in Burbank or in Stockton? Well, I've lived in Stockton.
Burbank.
I'd
Now
rather
Burbank
live-
isn't much. Burbank is
No.
On par with Stockton, but it's I'd rather live in Burbank.
It's twice as much though. Maybe I'd rather live in Stockton.
Nah, you'd rather be in Burbank.
I mean, I think there's layers to this question. Are you single? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Single with a little bit of money in Stockton goes a lot longer than single in Burbank with a little bit of money. You see what I'm saying?
Nah,
Because you can
you're just
impress the girl in
closer to things.
Stockton with a in and out
What
burger
girl?
date.
What girl in Stockton? What girl are you
There's
meeting
some
in
shit
fucking
there.
Stockton?
There's some shit there. Come on. There's some shit there. Maybe not anymore. I don't know. I haven't been there in a while.
No, I'd rather be in Burbank. Even though in Burbank you're way far away from LA, but like you're far. But I'd rather be in Burbank. From the little time that I've spent in Burbank, I'd rather be in Burbank.
All right. Watch the second video. He opened 12 for the first guy that bought in. Yeah. I think
the
this
Jabs
is
family.
This is
Jabs family. Yeah. We got the Jabs family. We never intended to come on here and cook Jabs family. I think sometimes people think just because we're going to talk about somebody, like we're going to cook them. No, I was more mad that people. I was mad that people emailed me and thought that I was watching live. I'm like, you guys really think that I don't have something better to fucking do than watch these dweebs open fucking cards? My God.
Maybe it seems like that though.
Maybe.
Tim needs 10%, 4.2 to 10.
To flex more. Fucking I need to flex more or something, or post on Instagram or something.
Maybe.
Fuck me.
Tim's equity is definitely on the rise.
Has this motherfucker broken anything? Oh, maybe he did. He actually opened some cards an hour ago.
Oh my God. Like a blaster, a hanger. Open a hanger with a razor blade.
Yeah. Still sitting there trying to sell this shit.
Fanatics in November in Orlando. Maybe. Depends on what I'm doing in November. I'm still getting paid in November to not work, so maybe. The chat needs to buy in on Sports Card Radio. Sure, we'll sell equity stake. I don't know at what valuation, but we can work that out at some point.
After tonight, it might be minimal after tonight. After I cooked Jab's family and said I don't watch his breaks, it's like, oh, I thought he was dorking out over cards 24/7. I got the platinum stream up, backyard breaks up over here, and I got these guys. Oh, I'm watching this 15-hour break and shit. Fuck,
we're dorking out on Michael Jordan cards. These are on a good day, $7-8. I got 3 of them.
I did dork. I mean, I bought like 1,000 cards at this card show, so it was I could have spent another hour there easily. So I got no problem dorking out over cards.
Ellie Dela Cruz in like a year. Folks, we were live on a Wednesday because Thursday it's going to go down. We got a presidential debate tomorrow. So we went live today. PBHobby.com. Don't be a scrub.
We got
save 10%. Oh,
you could save $13 right now, baby.
Whoa.
Got the foot cards. Man,
these are risky. Can I even show these?
I don't know. Maybe not.
We got to ask your little preacher if you can look at these guys. You got to ask your little preacher. Can I look at these?
If it was a trans, it'd be fine on Google. Since it's straight white women, probably not.
True.
Did I say that out loud? Folks, thank you for tuning in. It is now 11:18 on the East Coast, 8:18 out here on the West Coast. So just enough time for Tim to fire up whatever dating apps or whatever applications, bring in the women. I'm sure Ryan.
Yeah. Pokey date.
Ryan, what dating app is hot right now, guys? We know the Tinders and all that other shit.
We should have had the cameras rolling out on this date I went to. Man, this girl just fucking cooked me. Talk about getting cooked. This girl just straight cooked me, boy. Just cooked me. She was just not feeling me or whatever. And these girls are not shy about.
How was she cooking you? She was basically calling you a scrub.
She was not. She was not impressed with anything I had going on. That's for sure.
Did you tell her you owned what is it, 44% of Sports Card Radio? That didn't do it.
She was not impressed with any of the baseball card things. She was not impressed with Beanie Baby. She was not impressed with anything I had going on in my life. Now, I will say she might have. The problem was I was out at the state, right? We were talking, and for whatever, I was up by Walnut Creek, and for whatever reason, there was like fucking girls walking around that were like fucking smoke shows, like literally like 8, 9s, and 10s, like multiple ones. So I was I was almost like distracted, and I wondered if she like saw me checking out these other girls, because it was like you couldn't not check out these girls. Like I don't know, I thought I was on a TV show because I was like, am I being set up here? And then yeah, she was definitely not impressed with me, and that was it. That was a one-time thing, and she made an excuse why she had to dip out, and that was it. So
You drove all the way to Walnut Creek?
That's like 30 minutes. That's not very far.
Okay.
Hour
Total.
I'm not in where you live. I don't live out in the middle of nowhere like you do. Like fucking hey. Jesus Christ.
There's a reason why I live in the middle of nowhere. It's awesome here.
Yeah. Unless you were single and you needed a date.
I came here single, so there's shit here.
Yeah, so don't ask me about dating advice, because boy, I'm just striking out left. Speaking of LA De La Cruz strikeouts, boy, I'd be leading the fucking league in strikeouts over here. So it's definitely not tremendous. Since I came back up to Northern California, it has not gone well at all.
Wow,
that's life though. You get another bat tomorrow, so you just strap it on tomorrow.
All right. Well, you can
go over the city tomorrow. We got a Giants game tomorrow, so maybe we'll go to the city and maybe we'll spend some money in the city. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, well, folks, I think the request is for the country song, because we have we've got a debate tomorrow, and we certainly have the candidates that I'm pulling for, but look, it's all love. It's love across the board. The other guy doesn't make me upset. I just think they're all.
Wait a minute, it's late enough. We can talk about this. I'm curious to see. First of all, Biden is a very moderate Democrat. Trump is actually a very moderate Republican. I'm curious to see tomorrow. Like, do they throw red meat to like? Does Biden talk about the gays and the trannies and the border and letting everybody in? Or does Biden is actually more of a kind of a conservative Democrat, despite how he gets labeled in the media. Trump is actually more of a moderate Republican compared to
he's a 90s Democrat.
Yeah, he's a 90s. Exactly.
You watch Bill Clinton tapes. It's like, holy shit,
it's Donald Trump.
Bill Clinton's speechwriter from 1994 is writing the speeches for Donald Trump these days.
Dead ass. It's
if you do look at what Joe Biden, what he says and what he does, it's two different things. He's super hardline on China. He's done he's kept all the tariffs in place. He's raised the tariffs. He's put new tariffs in place.
Republican thing.
Yeah, that's a very hardline. Hardline.
So I'm curious to see, like, do they throw red meat at their bases and the people who are like, you fucking,
yeah. They'll go abortion. Abortion will be the second question. The first or second question will be about abortion. Jesus. So they're trying to, pin, like Trump's some pro-life fucking advocate. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, it's
they should both do cocaine. They both should do cocaine before the event, and that would make it 10 times better.
Well, yeah, I think they're sitting down. So
oh wow,
I think Biden requested to be sitting down. So
whew. Dang, he's getting old, boy. Our boy's getting old.
I don't blame him. Damn, I'll be sitting down too. 81.
Damn, he's 81.
So, he's 81.
Man,
so we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to watch. I think you got to watch it, and you got to get on Twitter or whatever and watch the memes and all the other. One of these, they're both going to say something stupid, and everybody's going to twist everything that they say. So, but everybody tuning in will have already made up their mind who they're voting for. Exactly. So That's the greatest thing about it is everybody's going to already know who they're going to be voting for. So
He's 78.
yeah, he still looks pretty
Man.
good. I think he's
How
still
old's the
pretty
wife?
solid for 78,
The wife's only 54.
54. Still looks good.
She's still looking good.
How's Ivanka looking these days? That's
Oh
Ivanka.
yeah, the daughter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ivanka. Yeah, she had some work done, and she had kids. So, you know, that's life. She's 42. Damn, she our age.
Damn. Okay. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We'll be back next week, and yeah, keep eyes on Jobs Family because we certainly ain't doing that. Until next time.
Watching.
Until next time, we're out of here.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but you all got it all getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we're talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on card stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt. Cause the market's down and you're down, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with the bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip me out? I think you dipped you out. What you talking about? I don't think you did, yeah. It's just shake shit like the GOBs, like it's wholesale thing with the mid-NFTs. Taking money from the people to pay most of them are broke, but that's okay. He's getting money even better tax-free, loving all the stimulus, the PPP. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson. What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but you all got it all getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we're talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on card stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt. Cause the market's down and you're down, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with the bullshit, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip me out? I think you dipped you out. What you talking about? I don't think you did, yeah. It's just the same shit like the GOBs, like it's wholesale thing with the mid-NFTs. Taking money from the people to pay most of them are broke, but that's okay.
Oh, an ad for whatnot. No shit.
Loving all the stimulus, the PPP. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit, Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson.
1.9%, baby.
Jeff Wilson.
Nvidia's up 1,000. Yeah. They're talking about 1.9%. Nvidia's up 1,000. Go watch Jabs Family.
What's
Later, boys.